Hey everybody, I'm TJ Majors, spotter of the race-winning 6 Cup car this weekend. Also had a truck with Bailey Curry and Carson Quapple.
It's about time you did something good around here.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time.
Brett Griffin, part-time spotting this year for Richard Childress Racing, and Darlington is thebomb.com.
Where were you?
I was at Darlington Saturday.
Oh,
Did you watch the race?
Nice of you to call. What's up? Freddie Kraft, spotter for Bubba Wallace, Kyle Sieg, Ty Dillon this week. Yes, TJ, it's very nice to see you're back in Victory Lane.
Yeah, forgot where it was.
Yeah, it's still down there.
He needs a crown on today.
I mean, I'm sure. Would you guys? You guys definitely stayed out till what, like 3, 4 in the morning last night celebrating?
Rager.
Like 8, 9.
Total rager.
Yeah. I think. That's. We're probably past the Big Al's days and the pool party days.
Me
but,
too.
You know.
Did you, Freddie and Brett know that?
No.
We're never going to be past those days. I don't think.
We celebrate top 30.
Yeah. No, I think you celebrate
day.
top 36s.
Yeah,
Is more like it.
What's up, Casey?
Hey guys, Casey Boat here, and I believe we have a very, very special guest this week.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody I've been looking forward to having on for a while. Kid, I really don't know. Actually, it's the first time we've met in person, probably. But I've been following his career, and first of all, you can't not follow a guy named Butterbean. I don't know how we're going to get into how this nickname came about, but what's up, Brenden Queen? Welcome to DBC.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. I've watched y'all for a while, so this is a pretty cool experience to be here.
So let's get right into it. First of all, I know, I'm sure a lot of our fans are familiar with the old boxer Butterbean that would just go in and pummel people in those American flag boxer shorts.
I'm not going to lie. Before I met you, I kind of thought you were going to look like that.
Well, I get that a lot, so I actually got the nickname from him, but it was because I looked like him as a baby. So I was fat, chubby, and had blonde.
So you look like me, basically.
Well, I wasn't going to say that.
No
but
beard.
Yeah, sure. No beard. No mullet. This is pre-mullet days. So
You weren't born with that?
I wasn't born with that. So mullet was COVID era. So that's kind of how it came, and it's funny because it was really just a family thing, and then as time went on, my friends found out, my teachers found out, and next thing you know, that's all I was known as at school, and it ended up on a race car, and it's been there ever since.
Does anybody call you Brenden? I mean,
It's rare. It's very rare. I don't even, like, if people say, like, who's Brady Queen, they go, who? And then they say Butterbean, like, oh, I know that guy. So that's pretty much how it's been.
It's a good sign you're from the South, though, because everywhere else it's a lima bean. You know, in the South it's a butter bean.
Well, I've been called a lot of things. So you know how that goes.
So, the first time, and he has one of the most recognizable race cars, even before you got with Lee and them. I remember this car. I mean, I don't know how long you've been running, but this feels like it goes back 6, 7 years now. It has the digitized numbers on it. Looks like an old video game. It always stood out to me anytime I went to a late model race. So first of all, where do you come from? How'd you get started in racing, and then what brought that kind of paint scheme about?
So I kind of started like the normal ladder when I was growing up. I started racing go-karts when I was like 6, and then proceeded to move up. I actually did arena cars in between, and then
oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, which I got a picture of you sent to me today in an arena car.
Oh yeah, I've driven them.
I got it. Somebody sent it to me today.
Oh yeah,
but I did legend cars, and then moved up to late models when I was 15. At the time, that was the age requirement, but did it all from in our backyard with my family. My crew chief was Phil Warren, which he's a big name in the late model world. So he pretty much mentored me a lot till I got to Lee. We didn't have the money.
Yeah.
We were racing out of our backyard, but I did a lot with what we had, and I ended up getting a sponsor that was a video game store. So that's how the number scheme came, and the Mario and all that, and it became a very, very noticeable car that I stuck with. And when I went to Lee, when I finally got that opportunity and had the Staten family come in and help me, actually they let me drive their dirt car. That's how that kind of started, and then proceeded to move over to the asphalt side with me. And we went to Lee, and I feel like that was a great decision for us. And I kind of just took the scheme over there and kept it,
Yeah, and you mentioned Lee. It's Lee Pulliam, who is a late model legend for sure. Could probably still be out there kicking everybody's ass if he wanted to be.
Oh yeah.
What's it like getting a chance to work with the guys like you mentioned Phil Warren, which I think you won three Langley championships?
Yeah, we won. we tied the record of 3 in a row. And then, and for me, that was big because, like I said, we were in our backyard doing it. And we won a Cars Tour race doing it at Langley, which was really cool because, I think the days of doing that out of your backyard and beating those guys is kind of long gone. It's very hard. But kind of got me that opportunity to go to Lee Pulliam, and, man, working with him. Phil was great. Don't get me wrong. He's like a dad to me. I can call him right now and get advice or whatever, but it was just that next part of my step, and Pulliam is just phenomenal because, I raced against him, and now I get to work with him. So, I kind of knew the person he was, and I knew what he was capable of, and then getting to drive his cars. We won the first race together, so, you can't make that up.
Yeah.
Was that what race was that?
The 400.
That's the one we were pitted right next to you, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yep. Okay, that was right.
That's
okay.
a Florence, I'm
Yep.
assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Tough racetrack. Talk about the Cars Tour right now, because I feel like this is, for me anyway, if I'm mentoring a young driver that's wanting to go to the late model ranks, it seems like to me the Cars Tour is a no-brainer. The competition level is just the best in the country, it seems like.
It's unbelievable. Take Hickory, for instance. I was .02 off the pole, and I was 8th.
Wow.
You can't make that up anywhere. I'm telling you, if you're 2/10 off, you're dead last.
Yeah.
35 cars.
Huffman's been telling me that.
Yeah. Oh, he's having a rough year, man.
He must be the 1 2/10 off.
Man, I felt so bad. Somebody commented on his Facebook about the greenhouse this week and said that the same guy bolt the greenhouse on that bolted the hub on, and I was like, he's just not having a good year.
No, he's this last week's been
Poor
a rough.
Huffman.
Yeah, he's
I
had a
love that
rough
kid.
week too.
He had a convertible.
He had a lot of missing off that car by the
That
time he was
thing's hurt.
there. Yeah.
That thing is hurt.
But yeah.
I feel like position-wise, Cars Tour is what ARCA was 20 years ago.
See, I was just sitting here thinking, you know what the car tour reminds me of? The Hooters Pro Cup Series.
Yeah.
With the TV package you got.
But bigger.
Yeah, we're starting to know these late model guys by name, because we see them on Flow every week, and and we're starting to recognize. You normally didn't do that, but with what Flow's done for that has been amazing.
Well, we've never had an ownership group at a grassroots level like we have with
now.
the cars. I mean,
Yeah.
Kevin Harvick, Hall of Famer.
Dude,
Jeff
the haulers
Burton,
of these late model races
Yeah.
aren't what I showed up with the Concorde in 2002 and 3.
Yeah.
I watched the Flow. I watched on Flow the Ace race, and I thought you were way too nice to Millington. By the way, I don't know. I mean, you must be a nicer guy than I thought you were. Millington. I thought you. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
So the nice me, I used to be very, very, very aggressive, and I got myself in a lot of trouble. And and I didn't finish a lot of races. And I know where you're probably going with this.
You got into Carson a little bit. That happened.
I got a call from Dale.
I know. I was in a group text with him.
Oh my Lord. So, but the Millington deal, he actually dumped me after the race last year at Hickory. So that was strike 1. And strike 2 happened this weekend. And the problem was I hit him, and the quarter panel was cracked, and I pretty much just went right to the fuel cell trying to move him. So I just went in there and just laid the door to him. But the thing they didn't catch was he about ran me to fits 3 times.
Oh, I saw it.
The third time he got me, and I felt like at that point, if I could have got the clean air, I could have won it. But I knew the 8 car was my competition. But
You better get used to saying clean air.
I wanted to get back.
yeah.
I wanted to go back. So I'm watching the race. And
That's right,
Chris
Chris was
Rice
there.
was the announcer, which, God, you can imagine how that went. But eventually they get singled. Millington run 2 restarts in a row. He's running Brenden Butterbean, whatever you want to be called, into the fence. And
It's Butterbean.
butter. Should we just call
It
it
ain't even
bean?
butter. It's Butterbean.
Butter with an A.
I've been peanut butter, Butterbean. I've been called.
But he squeezes him in the fence 3 or 4 times, pretty bad. And then all of a sudden they single out, and Chris is like, "Man, there's damage on the 03. I wonder where that come from." And I'm like, "Has he been watching the same race?"
Did you notice when it happened? He said he ran me in the wall, and then 2 laps later he goes,
"Where'd that damage go?"
I texted him after the race. He's like, "Man, you had a good car," but I couldn't. I was like, "Did you forget about it?" 2 laps later.
I don't think. Listen to Chris. He could take a totally bad situation. Oh man, these guys are so happy with each other, and they're.
You should have seen it. So Flo does a vlog with me called the Butterbean Experience, and they got it on tape. I get out the car, and Millington and I meet face to face, and he looks at me and he's like, "I know I was just tight, man. I ran you right in the fence," and I'm like, I almost caught me off guard because I was ready to just yell at him, and he tells me, "I know I ran you to fence." I'm like, "Well, thanks, appreciate it." Like,
Yeah. That's how that deal goes sometimes.
He's related.
So you said Dale called you after your little dust up with Quapple?
We
got to come back. Let's get
No, so Dale and I are fine.
This is a while ago.
Yeah,
it's still fun to hear.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for the people that remember the race, like we had pretty much led the whole race, and Dominion gets so hard to, like, if you're pinched down late in the race, the tires are hot, and it's so hard to make the bottom work. And just kind of one of those things, like Carson's really good at like laying back on the restart and rolling the box, and like then he'll be almost ahead of you at the line, which now they've kind of like
TJ did that all day yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh man, we went on a dream.
So, anyways, I don't blame him. I did it when I was in second too, but he basically had me beat at the line and put me in a bad spot going into one, and I'm thinking in my head like, okay, I'm gonna go in here and just kind of give him the door because he's done it to me before, and I'm going to get the lead back because it was like, I don't know, 10 to go?
That was late, yeah.
It was late in the race. Like, this is for the win. And the problem was I hit him. And I went in the next corner. I started getting looser and looser, and I couldn't stay off of him. And it makes it look way worse than what it was supposed to be. And I just couldn't get off of him. And then Bobby catches us, McCarty, and I go into one on the last attempt, and I actually entered really low trying to stay off of him, which made me basically miss the corner, and I ran into him even worse. And then that's how we got 3 wide. And I was just trying to make him 08 instead of 8 on the door. That's all I was trying to do.
I was like, the last thing that was said was, I'm going to talk to that boy.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Was this an angry
So now you have
Dale?
Dale Jr.'s phone number.
Well, I had it, but, that's not the phone call you want to get at 8 in the morning.
So I want to know what
he
happened.
called you at 8 in the morning, too.
That must be his time to yell at people.
He called me at 8 in the morning last week.
Well,
Probably for a similar reason.
he texted me at like 1 in the morning and text.
That's more Dale Jr.
That was a what the hell, you know? It did.
If you get the follow call,
You sounded just like him.
He did.
yeah. If you get the follow call that early,
I figured that's how it was when he texted it to me.
Yeah,
That's how he
I'm
was
sure.
saying.
yeah. So I want to know what your reaction was whenever you saw your phone ring and it was him.
Well, at 8 in the morning.
Oh yeah.
So we were at the hotel, and phone's ringing. And I'm still half asleep, but I'm like, who in the world is calling? I see Dale Jr. I like act like I wasn't asleep.
you gotta quit.
Hello, you know. And
What are you doing? Just get into the shop.
he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing, just getting some breakfast, you know. He said, I've cooled down a lot since last night. I'm like, okay, good.
Oh, he was wound up.
Thank God.
He basically just told me, like, as an owner of the series, I loved it. But as an owner of the car, I didn't like it.
Well, he definitely calmed down.
And he said, I don't want you to change, but just think about how you could do it different next time. I'm like, okay.
So, it wasn't as good as I was hoping.
No, he had calmed down a lot. Now,
Yes, he had.
So I texted him on Saturday night when he sent me the text. I said, "Call me," and he said, "I can't right now. Can't talk to you."
Probably for the best.
Okay.
Would you, TJ? Would you like to, reiterate what Dale was thinking before?
Yeah, let me hear it because I saw your tweet.
He was. I'm gonna have to talk to that boy. Yeah, he was. He was adamant that he was gonna get a hold of you, and I was like, "Oh God."
So obviously this week, making your Truck Series debut, Tricon. What are our expectations going into this week? I mean, what have you done to prepare for North Wilkesboro?
Well, kind of with Pulliam becoming a TRD team, that's kind of got me in the door a little bit with Toyota and TPC and being able to work out. And the Butterbean has lost some weight. I've had to lay off the chicken tenders, so that's not been fun. But kind of doing whatever I can to make the most of the opportunity because I don't know how many I'll get at this point in my career. So trying to make the most of it. But doing sim with Tricon's been great. Doing pit stop practice and man, just so ready. I never thought I would get this opportunity. Like I tell everybody, 2 years ago, I was working at the Port of Virginia, moving the boxes off the container ships 7 days a week, and thought I was done racing. And
wow.
And I'm telling you, like the BRC and the Staten family came in, and I mean, they turned my life into a 180, and I went back racing more than ever. So I lived it of working 7 days a week, not thinking I was going to ever get an opportunity. And and I thought the car store would be all of it. Like when I won Wilkesboro last year, like that was Like that's all that happened, I was good with it, and I was so content winning late model races. And who knows what the future holds, but I'm gonna make the most of it.
We talked about before we got going today. The weather is not on your side this week. There's potential that your first lap is going to be in the race. What do you feel like you've done enough to prepare, sim wise, iRacing, whatever it is, to drive it off into turn one there at Wilkesboro?
I think so. I think my dirt racing side helps me a lot with that. Like I was telling you, because when I go dirt race, I'll go to these places I've never been in. 2 laps and it's time to race. So
you ran a couple weeks ago, or I thought I saw you running.
Yeah, I did a Natural Bridge, so I don't get to do it a lot, and I'm a rookie on there. But just to go make the show at these races is big for me because those guys it's like showing up to a Cars Tour race, and they got their stuff together. So,
which name are you most excited about racing against? Because I know you looked at that lineup.
Ooh, in the truck,
Yeah.
Man, it's so hard because now we race against the Cup guys in the late model. Like last year when I won Wilkesboro, there was 8 or 9.
bunch,
I mean,
yeah.
So I was always a Keselowski fan growing up. No, just ironically,
Growing
but so I used to race against his father-in-law. We had a big rivalry at East Carolina.
I saw somebody mention that on Twitter.
Yeah, it was big. Lewis and I, we went at it, but and it was so awkward
awesome.
because at the time I was a bad Brad fan at the time, and then I'm like, well, he ain't never gonna like me because I'm over here beating doors with his father-in-law. So. No, it was cool racing against him and Harvick and obviously Junior and then Larson. I'm good buddies with Cliff Daniels, so being able to race with Larson once last year in the Cars Tour was cool. So Truck Series is kind of weird because I've raced against a lot of those guys in late models, with Corey and Raja and other guys like that. We kind of all know each other and raced together, but I hadn't seen the entry list, so I'm not sure who exactly, if any. I'm sure Ross Chastain will be in it, I think.
I don't know.
I don't know if
I have
I've
no
seen it or
idea,
not.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
So it'd be cool just to get my name out there. I mean, honestly, if you'd have told me 2 years ago that people would know who I was from late model racing, I'd have never believed it. But it's became bigger than I ever would have thought.
What's it going to take for you to leave Saturday night or Saturday afternoon happy at Wilkesboro? What's your expectations? How do you leave that racetrack satisfied with a good run?
Yeah, I think you just want to finish first, complete all the laps. That's the main thing, and not send the truck home tore up. I know how much work goes into it. I spent those days working on my stuff, so I don't want to disrespect their equipment in any way. I'm not that type of person. I'd like to do what I got to do to win the race, but I'm not gonna make a stupid move and be known for that. So finish all the laps, and then obviously my goal is if I leave there with a top 10 or something like that, I'm gonna be like I won the race. Obviously we want to win the race, but if I can limit the mistakes on pit road on my end, that's gonna be the first step. That's all new to me, so I'd rather give up one spot on pit road than go to the rear.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be the fastest short track in America.
Absolutely.
For what they've got going on. I mean, obviously it's not high bank, but this place is going to be ripping all week.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take him long to adjust at all there.
I mean he's won the late model race
yeah,
last year. I think he's going to be
it's
okay.
like a new track right now too, though.
For sure.
And we get the late model race on Wednesday. I think that's huge. Those are laps you can't buy.
I just think what you're gonna have to learn is the new competitors that you've never raced against, what their character, how they race, what they're gonna do, things like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, you're gonna be surprised and not surprised at some of them.
Let me tell you what they race like ass.
Oh, look! So I went to Darlington and sat on the box with the one guys, and it's different because you're not out there seeing everything, but just from obviously I studied and followed the races, and man, there's some squirrels out there.
Oh, there's some squirrels.
You want to name any of them?
Yeah.
Well,
you want to come back next week and name some?
yeah. I'll call back in and I'll let you know if I made any friends or not.
Reaction theater. I want to hear you.
But man, in the world of give and take, there's no give. It's all
etiquette.
It's all taking the truck.
This will
series.
be easier than I felt bad for Carson because it rained out. Xfinity stuff, and his first lap at his first lap to Darlington were
And SVG, some big names.
turn one, lap one.
Good luck.
Send her off down in there.
Yeah.
But they both did a really good job, I thought. So
I think that'll be the hardest thing is like Cars Tour. It's getting rougher because there's a lot of, it's all turning into renter rides. And that's kind of how the Truck Series is too. But it's rare to see somebody just get a shot anymore. Like we all know that. But Cars Tour, like if I'm racing Carson, it's kind of like our normal group that we race with for wins. Like there is mainly a lot of respect. Like, we won't move each other, but like it's hard racing, but it's what you want to see.
Yeah, you don't see tore up race.
Like look at the Thanksgiving Classic.
Yeah,
like Josh and I, like we got rougher and rougher, but like I thought it was a hell of a race.
That's one we went to. Yeah, I saw you up there.
That would have like. We crossed over for 30 laps.
How about our buddy Kip? You see Kip much?
Oh, I see Kip all the time. He's always getting chewed out right now.
Why?
So I think.
Yeah, about time.
Yeah,
Just kidding, Kip.
I love Kip. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
But I feel so bad because just the way we're having a big tire situation right now in the car store. That's like.
What do you mean tire situation?
Like you'll bolt on a set and be fast, and all you do is bolt on another set and half a second off. And I've gotten bit by it twice this year, and
is that what happened at what is that, Orange County?
Oh yeah, I was
wondering what you were doing.
I was fastest in practice Friday and Saturday. Tried 2 different packages every time I went on a track.
Did you start on mediums?
Top of the yeah. So anyways, we put the qualifying tires on, and I couldn't stay on the lead lap.
It's crazy.
That's Kip's fault.
Yeah, let's blame Kip.
Well,
damn, Kip.
What the hell are you doing, Kip?
So I got in trouble because I'm a Hoosier hero, and they stick a mic in my face right after the race, and I'm like, all we did was change tires, and blah, blah, blah. I ended up in a meeting, and Hoosier wants to fix it. It's not like I felt like I didn't bash them, but like because it's not like they want it to happen, They're,
It's like, an issue in a few other series.
That's right. That's right. So it's not like Hoosiers like, let me mess these tires up and screw their day. Like,
not intentional. But
speaking of the Thanksgiving Classic, that was a really good race. I think there was more contact on pit road with crew guys and ripping wires out of.
That was wild.
Yeah, that was insane.
The last question I have for you, and we were going to kick you out of here at this point, but you say you got opinions, so we're going to let you hang out for a little while and see how you do.
Just don't get yourself called.
Yeah, do not. You don't want to go to the hauler this week. Trust me. So I know your tradition of Waffle House after the win, and you probably haven't been in Lyles like you'd like to be. But what's our go-to Waffle House order when you do win this thing?
I always go with the All-Star Special.
What is that?
It's first I go to chocolate milk. Gotta have the chocolate milk.
Absolutely.
And then it's a waffle, bacon, eggs, hash browns, and toast.
How you get the eggs?
I'm a scrambled man. So
Man, God almighty.
Yeah.
Further you go north, Brad, the less runny they get.
Yeah. I am Virginia, so South Virginia.
You're below the Mason-Dixon line.
I am like 12 minutes from the Carolina line, so I'm close.
Thank God.
I had a buddy. So me
Two
and
Southerners at this table, finally.
Bunky, which anybody's ever been to the Sandy Ridge knows Bunky. He's the bartender there just about every damn day. And when I first moved down here, Herm, we'd go to the Canaples.
I was going to say, Herm knows the Sandy Ridge.
Herm, yeah. So Herm introduces me to Bunky, and he says, "This is my buddy Freddie. He's a Yankee." And he said, "You from up north?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Where about what? Raleigh?" I said, "A little further north of Raleigh."
Raleigh.
There's nothing better than Sandy Ridge.
Is that the place that changed the stool or something there in the last year or two? I thought Herm said something about they got new bar stools.
That's the one by his house.
It may be the only convenience store in North Carolina that's a bar.
I took Timmons and them, which we'll get to Timmons later, but I took them guys. And they were like, we pull in, it's a gas station. You pull in, it's a gas station. You walk in, you just push this push door, and next thing you know, you're in this cool little bar and hanging out. But if you ever get a chance to look up Sandy Ridge.
We took Casey to Big Al's last week.
Yes, I actually will admit, Brett, you are on my good side right now. Thank you for paying for my lunch.
You're welcome. I've never known anybody to order a meatball sub, so that was a first. But we're going to take you to Sandy Ridge.
She's pregnant.
And after that, I wanted Cold Stones. I wanted the Buffalo Wild Wings chips and salsa. So you know what? We're just gonna roll.
I'm gonna follow you all around. Let's talk Darlington, TJ. How was your day?
Oh, my day was wonderful. I mean,
So, to be more specific, take us through those.
yeah, I don't even want to talk about
Last-
losing
yep.
the lead or losing the lead and then racing for the lead and then losing.
What's that roller coaster? Like you
Oh my
are.
God, you have no
which was
idea.
a phenomenal, marvelous, terrific, outstanding, stupendous race between you and Reddick for about. It felt like 20 laps, but it was probably
the whole
5.
race. The whole race, we were kind of. It ended up being us and Reddick at the end of a run. Reddick would take off, and I don't know what he was doing because he would take off like a rocket, and I would tell Brad, I'm like, yep, he's burning it up. He's 3-4 tenths faster than you. And I'm sitting there just watching Brad. And Brad, I don't know how he does it, but he knows. I don't know what he tells himself or how he manages that in the car, but he can run within a tenth like every lap, just a little bit. I don't know where he does it at. But then you look at Reddick, and he's up there. I mean, it looks like he's qualifying every lap. And as soon as he gets to the back of the field, it's 6/10 a lap. And he can't, and them guys aren't going to let him go. And he's used his stuff up. So much getting there that we run him down, and he's got nothing left really. And we did one time it worked out. We got around and started driving away, and then the other times it seemed like right when it was getting ready to be our turn, the caution would come out. So I don't know, racing him for the lead. Brad was. I don't know if Brad was. He was pushing him a little bit, but not really wanting to use his stuff up yet. Like if he could get the lead, he would. But he knew he could. He knew he could sit there and ride. He had time, and but we finally late in the race there when Brad got control and we were kind of driving away, and I thought we were going to win, and then I look over there and there's a 5 spinning down the track, and I'm like, nah, okay, the guy hosed us last week as a company, now he's doing this again. So and Reddick had that first pit stall, and our pit crew honestly had better pit stops all day. We just
Don't matter.
Yeah, it don't matter because that number one stall, you roll forward 6 feet or whatever, how many
Not
feet
even,
it is,
probably.
and you're the first one out. As soon as we get to the real speed line, we're 3 car lengths in front of them. Like our pit crew was, I don't know if they're the best on pit road all day, but they had to be up there. But just losing control of the race, man, it's so hard to get it back. But there at the end, man, him and I don't know how they did it. Those two racing side by side. What was it, 3-4 laps or something? Normally you race for a lap, a corner or two at Darlington, and man, these two were going at it, and it was one of the better races that I've seen. There was, Brad wasn't giving him an inch, Tyler wasn't giving him an inch, and then they get together a little bit out of 4, and here comes Buescher with this huge run.
I got a question for
No.
you. So I'm gonna take it back a little bit. I gained mad respect for Brad Keselowski a couple 3 years ago after he had a great finish, and I don't remember what racetrack we were at, but man, he gets out and he's pouring sweat. And Bob Pockris or somebody walked up to him. By the way, shout out to Bob. He picked the winner Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, doubled up.
Be like Bob. But Brad gets out of the car and somebody asked him a question, and he's like, I'm telling you, man, he looks like he's just ran a marathon.
Yeah.
And he goes, we had our best race we could possibly have, and we finished 3rd or 4th, and we're not good enough to win. And I was like, man, that's a big statement from a guy that's this good of a race car driver. Like, you're saying we were perfect today. Every pit stop was great. Every restart was great. I did great, and we can't win yet. And now you can. And obviously, we were texting with Trey Ryan last night. People may not realize this. RFK, going back to the beginning of last year, is tied for 3rd in the most wins other than Hendrick and Gibbs since the beginning of last year. Like, I feel like Brad Keselowski has saved Roush Racing. It's been so long since that 6-car won. Like, who would have ever thought we'd say that?
Yeah, and to me, knowing Brad, and he never really talked, but it's weighing on him. Because we were in position to win Talladega. We had a shot at winning Texas.
10 races in the last 2 years.
Kansas, we had a good shot. We're still right there. And, man, something would just always happen. There'd be a yellow. We'd get a bad restart. Something would happen, anything. And I don't know, man. I know it was weighing on him. But now, I'm not going to lie. I think this is Brad's got it back in his head. I can win again. And now he knows it, and he's been back to victory lane. You're probably getting ready to. He's getting ready to unleash Brad that you probably haven't seen in a while now. I mean, and he's put it all into it, man. I don't know. You know, I'm not just saying that because he's one of my best friends. Like, he's put it all into it. He's at that shop every single day. He's working on stuff. He knows that car from top to bottom. He knows what he wants to work on, and he's in there pushing for it. And I don't think there's many that are like that, you know, and to have that, to do that. And like I said, now he knows he can win.
When you saw Reddick get into Buescher, which I have my own opinion of how the whole thing went down.
Which we'll chat about later.
But when you saw that happen, you're watching a teammate basically open the floodgates for you. Like, how happy were you when that happened?
So down the backstretch, I saw Reddick creeping in on him, and down the backstretch, I told Brad off of 2. I said, Tyler's close enough to take a shot here. He's probably going to go for it because I know Tyler.
Yeah.
And I know how Tyler drove the start of every run. Tyler doesn't have any chill. And when Tyler saw his opportunity right there, he went for it. And I told Brad down the back, I said, Tyler's close enough. He's probably going to try to slide him here. And when I seen, you know, when they get to that 20% mark, 30, you know, when they're not going to clear him.
Yeah.
The guy throttles up and he's still going to be there. When I saw Chris get back into it and he was still going to be there, I'm like, oh, boy. And I told Brad, I said, down the back, I said, Tyler's going to take a shot. He's probably going to slide him. Get ready to turn down if you have to. And they both kept rolling fast enough, but they hit hard. And I was like, I don't know, man. I felt like it was taken from us, and then I felt like it was, you know, given back right there. So, I mean, you can't give up. When Chris got around us and we got back behind Tyler, we were still fast. We were still right there. And I was telling Brad, like, look, man, you don't know what's going to happen here. Just stay with it here. And, you know, it worked out.
You won a truck race at Darlington before.
Yep.
Never a cup race.
I've never won a cup race there yet.
Brad praised how hard it is, and Butterbean will appreciate this, having raced at so many tracks. Some tracks are hard, and Brad praised how hard of a racetrack it is to race at Darlington. Like, how cool was that?
Man, that's if you can circle 3 or 4 tracks on the schedule that you want to win at some point in your career, Darlington's on that list for sure. That is, you go around there, you see all the nostalgic stuff there, the race cars they bring there, the crowd. Those people love racing. That's just one of the places. It's got the tradition there. Everything about it is great. You know, for NASCAR there. It's just everything, man. The racetrack, it's so tough. They run literally 6 inches off the wall the entire race. I mean, did Bubba brush it at all?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, like you see these guys, Larson.
P7 for you yesterday.
Yeah, solid.
Larson, I mean, these guys all bounce off the fence because, man, it's hard. And these are guys that are, man, they're really good. Like, really, 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 really good. And to see them position these cars and do what they can do, like them two running side by side for 3-4 laps, I don't know if I've seen cars race that long. And they're racing for the win.
Well,
like,
you said last week that they fixed turn 2, and it wasn't as hard as it once was. We obviously saw some wrecks off turn 2.
It's still tricky.
But because of what you said, you were able to stay beside him because in the past, turn 2, somebody won or lost off turn 2. You weren't able to go through there too wide very, very often.
Yeah. Somebody was going to make a business decision at some point over there, and you know it was
on business.
Yeah, somebody was going to stand on business, and you know sometimes it was the guy in the bottom. If you hit him in the door with your right front, you wreck. Sometimes if you clip the guy in the left rear behind the tire or something, or he's out there at your door, you run him into the fence, and it's tricky over there. But this, I mean, it's such a great track. You have a little bit of everything, man. You have guys managing their stuff. Same thing we always talk. If you have people that you're gonna have some really good racing. If drivers have to manage their tires, if drivers have to drive the racetrack, and it's not, you know, it's a tough place to get around, and you know, and I think the car fits, you know, these style tracks really well. Like Kansas, another great race. Like in these guys, dude, they go through 1 and 2, and they are you couldn't put our phones between them, and they are running.
Oh, wide open.
And
They're flying.
I'm like, that's how good these guys are. You can't, like.
Tell me about the tire. It was a good tire?
Oh, I get to talk now? All right, just checking.
Well, everything I saw on Twitter was you had to pass in the first 5. You got to talk to Butterbean for 35 minutes, didn't let us talk. But everything I saw on Twitter was 5 to 7 laps. You better get it. or you ain't going to get it.
All right, thanks for the answer, Freddie.
No, I don't think I agree with that. And I think that TJ showed that, if the way I think you should, approach it, and I think that's, for most of the drivers, is it's much easier to pass at the end of the run than it is at the beginning of the run. Everybody is so fast at the beginning of the run that you're better off just kind of, it's hard to pass.
Yeah.
It's hard to pass.
Hard.
Even when you're later in the run, I mean, you have to have a pretty substantial advantage to easily pass anybody. But the beginning of the run, everybody's hauling ass. So, you kind of just get in where you fit in, maintain your stuff, hope that the guy in front of you is burning his up longer than, worse than you are, so that towards, 20, 30 laps into that run. Because we were going to probably run, I think most of the day you were going to run 35, 40 laps, pit, and then, maybe run 50 on the backside of it. So you had to manage your stuff still. I don't think there was, if you could get a guy early, obviously it was beneficial to you because then you could hold him up and aero block a little bit and then maybe get away from him later in the run. But, it is, and I want to talk to Butterbean about this because he's run multiple races like this where how hard is it, like Brad was doing, Tyler checks out. He's gone. I know you've run Florence, probably run Myrtle Beach, places that are really abrasive on tires that you can't go. You see somebody take off and you're like, oh, shit, am I going to be able to ever catch that guy again? Or, I know I can't burn my stuff up here, but just how hard is it in the seat as a mindset to say, I'm just letting that guy go and I know I'll catch him later?
I feel like I've been really good at that. A lot of people just can't do it. Like Jacksonville comes to mind. Last year I got the pole. I led the first lap, got my bonus point, and then I checked back to 15th. And you'll see these guys come up to you and try to ride at your pace, and they just can't do it. After 2 laps, they're like, bye. And
Yeah.
I'm like, see you in 30, see you in 40. And literally, I don't even care if I lead the last lap. It's to me.
You want to lead the last one.
Well, except the last. So, that's what I meant. You don't have to lead them all, but just the one that counts. And the thing that I like about it is if I go back and watch it, at the time you don't realize it, but when you watch it back, it's like art, how you just make your way back through the field. And I love the strategy of it. And Darlington, I've never drove there except on iRacing, but I think it's bad. I think there's the races that you have to manage your car. That's what makes a driver. Anybody can just go out there and hold it.
Thank you.
Hold it to the floor.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
Darlington takes talent.
Darlington takes everything,
right.
speed, talent. But I will say, you said Jacksonville, didn't Landon take off that race and lead, and then he got lapped.
Yeah, man, they do it all the time. Hampton Heat last year at Langley. I knew in practice I could run. I didn't have that raw speed, but I could run the same lap time for 80 laps straight, same 10th. And after they ran about 20 laps faster than me, they were slower.
Yeah.
I rode into teens, and then when it got down to 50 to go, I lapped up to 4th place.
So what's hard about Darlington is when our lap times, we fall off 2.5 seconds, something like that. You're losing. You have to keep some pace, but you also you're going to have fall off too. And it's I saw Larson fall in behind Brad one run, and he was trying to copy. He was kind of trying to copy what Brad was doing and run right there. But yeah, I don't know. Some of these older guys got to Martin was working his way up there too. I don't know, before he got in that wreck off of 2, he was creeping his way to the front. And Martin, I feel like Martin comes from that school of knowing how to manage the car and do things there too. Martin's really good at Darlington as well. So.
Casey, I know you're ready to move this thing along, but I will tell you as a spotter, there's no better feeling at Darlington than when they say pit next time, because you come off pit road and you're
Superman.
flying. You're Superman.
It's
We had yesterday. Twice we did the run long strategy. And let me tell you something.
That
as a spotter,
sucks.
that's the worst strategy.
But
on the
actually,
planet.
it actually was pretty
it
good.
works. It was going to work if we had a little more pace in our car. We pit from 7th, and our car wasn't great. So on top of strategy, your car has to be good to make strategies work. And we pit from 7th in the first stage. And we drove back to 10th. If our car was better, we would have drove back to probably 3rd or 4th, I think. Yep. Or, probably easily 5th and probably gaining from there. Because Blaney was quite a bit behind us, and he had a pretty good car. He was able to catch us, pass us, and then drive by 2 or 3 more guys. So, obviously pace plays a big factor. But I enjoy that because then what happens is a lot of times somebody's pits and you see everybody come.
Yeah.
So like while it sucks for those, because you got to stay out. Like what happens is some people react to this too quickly. Like if you get beat to pit road by somebody you're racing, you can't just come the next lap because that guy's going to jump you, and now you don't have enough tire advantage.
Yeah.
So what you have to do is, all right, he jumped me. Now I've got to run at least 5, maybe 7, 10, whatever it is. To now, when I know he's going to be way the hell out in front of me, but now I'm going to have an advantage when I catch him, later in the run. So it's a toss up. But I actually enjoyed yesterday because I wish we had a little more pace. But running long sucked for those 7 or 8 laps, whatever we ran long because we're just getting eaten alive.
You come out,
but
though.
then you come out and now everybody else is on old stuff compared to you, and you're a hero.
So, Butterbean, what do you think your biggest challenge is going to be? Because we're talking about pit cycles and all this stuff. Like you guys don't do this in the Cars Tour. So, what are you most concerned about this weekend in North Wilkesboro?
On the pitting side?
Yeah.
Or, I mean, like, obviously not getting a speeding penalty on my end and then not hitting somebody in and out of my box would probably be the first thing. My first pit stop practice, I thought I came in the box, and they're like, all right, that was great. Just do it 5 times faster. And I'm like, well, I thought I was going to hit the guy. It's like, trust me, he's going to get out of the way. I'm like, okay, 10-4. I come in there next time, letting her eat. And
So it's like you're rolling down Main Street, Mooresville, running 55 miles an hour, and there's people crossing the road.
Yeah, you get one of them crosswalks.
I think I'm a lot more. I went to my second pit practice, like much better.
Yeah,
like you had a lot more confidence, getting in the box, and I'm like, well, I just figured I just go for it. Like, if I'm gonna mess up here.
Yeah.
Well, we got time to fix that before the race. Like, we'll mess up in practice.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to a few other drivers who had really solid races, especially SHR. Barry and Briscoe, top 5 finishes. I mean, that's pretty impressive. I know Justin Haley did pretty well. So really,
Justin Haley did not do pretty well.
Dude, Ty Gibbs, best career finish. Obviously, Josh Berry, like you said, big finish. Justin Haley, 9th.
Dude,
Yes.
right?
And this is not a luck 9th. Like he
was fast.
He had he made a very similar call to the 17 that gained him some track position. But I actually took a picture. I forgot to send it to me and Justin and Brett have a group text, and I meant to send it. I took a picture of lap 20 on our timing and scoring, and Justin was like the second fastest car at lap 20.
Wow.
And I was like, and it's obviously split groups or whatnot, but and there's 10 guys at that lap, and then Justin was like the second or third fastest guy at lap 20, and I was like, damn, he's got good pace.
So I think when I spotted for Justin the year we did his first year I did full time with him, I think we finished 3rd there. I think it's a great racetrack for him. And look, man, we've given Rick Ware a lot of credit on here for a rebrand. A top 10 at Darlington, that's a big deal.
Straight up.
Their best finish ever outside of a super speedway race.
Yeah.
And like you said, straight up, that's a big deal.
Yeah, he was fast. Like I looked back there and I'm like,
This
51?
Yeah, I mean,
like that's impressive.
Justin's a good dude, and I'm excited for him.
I'll tell you,
that's a big deal.
I'll tell you who else had a really good run yesterday, and unfortunately for him, didn't get a lot of help on pit road, was Todd Gilliland. Todd Gilliland had a lot of speed yesterday, and it seemed like he would be running in front of us, pit, and come out 5 spots behind us, and then it just seemed like he continued to lose track position. I don't know if they were having issues with the box, pit stops, whatever it was, but he had a lot of speed yesterday, especially at the end of the first stage. And they he had a really good run, and I don't even know where he ended up. Hopefully it was well, but yeah, he was another one that was up there yesterday. And like you said, the SHR cars were fast. Barry was really good.
Yeah, Josh, he looked like Harvick. He got just a few spots a few spots a run. He was just methodically. If that was the longer race there, he's probably. We have a couple green flag runs at the end, like we would at the longer race, he's probably he'd have been in contention up there.
What y'all think of the throwback teams? Who was your favorite?
Oh, ain't no question.
Had to be the 5.
Ain't no
Oh,
question.
without a doubt.
God, man, that car was so fun to drive on NASCAR Heat back in the day.
Dude, I'll tell you.
Dude, Terry Labonte in the fire suit.
Yeah, come out and do it.
That's pretty cool.
I'll tell you what else was really cool about. I don't know if they just did this because of, and I think they're doing it some other places, but the NASCAR alumni program that they're putting together now. I saw
Rick Mass tweet about that.
Rick Mass was there. I seen Skinner was there. Hornaday was there.
I saw them. Yeah.
Park. I had lunch with Park last week, and he said he was going to be probably coming down there. There's a lot of these guys where I don't know what the benefit package is for this NASCAR alumni program, but I know they're getting hard cards, and it's nice to see. We've complained about it on here before, like some of these guys go away and you never see them again.
But I'm telling you, the problem is, and I mean, I'm saying this on my level, you get to the racetrack and you don't know where to go. When you guys show up right now, y'all know you're going to your hauler. You know where you're going to eat lunch. when you get there,
Yeah.
as an alumni person, you don't have a home. Like, you're homeless.
Yeah. You don't have a holler.
I was
you know.
homeless in the rain. I hung out with my crew chief from last year's at Spire now. So I was in the Spire trailer, and that's where I posted up. I didn't know where to go.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you literally get there and you're like, man, this is awesome.
I couldn't even find credentials.
I don't know where to go. Like, so it's really cool. Like, and NASCAR's doing a lot of cool hospitality stuff. Last year they had a really cool mobile marketing piece in the midway, but like, They should feel at home somewhere, and you don't know where to go.
The Midway, by the way.
I mean, Mark Martin went to the racetrack last year and didn't even go to Roush's Holler.
Yeah.
Like, that's how weird it is. So I love
the Midway.
this.
By the way, it was rolling. It was pretty cool. They had a lot of displays out there.
I will say this about the truck race is I gave up with 8 to go. I thought it was over, and I thought it was literally a done deal. And I leave, and then I get to the next stop. I was in Columbia, and I see Ross Chastain won. Like, what brought the caution out? What brought the last caution out?
First of all, the race was over. Corey Heim was going to kick everybody's ass.
He was
right up until Dean Thompson just wrecked the everybody.
So that's why.
Monday meeting.
I'm sure that meeting.
The guys asked me, "You want to come to the meeting Monday?" I said,
I might want to come to this one.
I'm like, I don't know if I want to be there.
FaceTime me. I want to listen.
You know, I don't know. Like, the funny thing is, those trucks are hauling ass right now. I think Tricon and Bill McAnally have the class of the field, which neither one of them were in position to win. But you know, even Dean, like he's been fast. You know, like, and he's just got to harness it. Like, he's got, like, you can't make that mistake there. It's same as we always see. Like, you talked about how tricky turn 2 was. He finally he had a fast truck in practice, qualified like gets up there, and you know, he's long run speed. He's got a fast truck. So as guys fall off, he's picking them off one after another. So I think he got to the top 10. He was probably, I think, 7th on that restart.
Yeah, he was.
And Corey, Corey's another one who wasn't having great pit stops. He'd come in with the lead, come out 5th, 6th, whatever. So however they chose, they end up next to each other, and Dean just tries too hard off of 2 and chases it up into him and causes a massive wreck, wipes out, I don't know, half the top 10, it seemed like. So it's unfortunate. I don't, you know, I seen him kind of get a little snippy with somebody that asked him a question, and it's like, hey man, you f***ed up, like, own it. Like Reddick do. You know, don't be snipping. Go, hey, it's hard. What'd you think? What do you
Reddick
mean?
had no choice but to own that, because if he didn't, he was going to get
But
pummeled.
I mean, this is the same thing. This is the same thing. Like you wrecked half the field right there. You need to own that. You need to. You know, I heard one back listening to his audio, and he's trying to blame it on Corey was on my door. Corey was nowhere near his door. So it's like. It's just, you know, you f***ed up, own it, and move on. Yeah. But you can't. I saw him. Like I said, I don't know who. I can't remember the video I saw, but he was like, you know, kind of trying to bite the guy's head off for asking legit questions, and you're like, well, sorry, bud, you messed up. You better own it and apologize and figure it out for the next one. But he's got speed, so I want to see him run well, but you just can't make a mistake like that.
Last thing, I'll wrap this segment since Casey's over there playing on MySpace.
I was about to bring up a new topic that.
Race Hub, 15 years, a staple.
I was bringing up the tweet. Thank you.
Okay, you go ahead then.
Nope, by all means. Brett.
I thought you were playing on your phone.
Brett's world, we're living in it.
Here we go. You're not on our good list anymore.
I'm glad you finally realized that.
Just might have to pay for a few more lunches.
Anytime. Meatballs on me. So, Race Hub, 15 years in the sport. Obviously, NASCAR losing a show on cable during the week. I think this is a big deal.
I agree.
Do you think it's a big deal that it's going away midseason?
Yes. It seems so strange to me that the timing of it. You know what I mean? Like, I could see, and it's not even. When does is it running concurrent with their?
It seems like
Cup Series?
They're basically stopping it when they're done with the Cup schedule.
Okay. So I mean, I thought it seemed stopping before that, which I would have thought was even weirder. But yeah, I don't. You know, you hear.
Listen,
different things.
Fox spends more money as a TV partner than any TV partner in NASCAR history. They're covering the Cup schedule half a season, Xfinity schedule half a season, truck schedule all year, and Race Hub,
ARCA,
and the amount of money that Fox has poured into the sport is unreal. And I guess I have a lot of struggles with this. My biggest problem from a marketing perspective is this platform was utilized by teams and sponsors to do a lot of cool unveils and a lot of announcements and whatnot. It gave personalities like Trevor Blaine, Drew Blickensderfer, et cetera.
Does
Trevor
Trevor Blaine
Blaine?
rely to
Who's
Bain?
that?
Or?
Trevor Blaine. I spotted for Trevor Blaine.
Yeah.
But like when I look at this thing, I struggle because NBC did not sign up Dale Jr. to continue as a broadcaster. That's a budget cut. I don't care how y'all see it. It's a budget cut. When I look at Fox, man, this is a budget cut. You know, look at Sirius, obviously Claire B, Chocolate Myers, a lot of shows went away. That's a budget cut. So I look at NASCAR and I see the, you know, play with CW, right, where they're going to be on CW next year. And Ben Kennedy, I think, is who said, or somebody said in a press release, that we're going to do our own version of a daily show. Well, where is that going to live? How are you going to do it better than Fox was doing it? And how are you going to get more eyeballs on it than what Fox was doing? So this is a big media transition, if you will, of our weekly content. So I hope it works out great. You know, I'm not a guy for change, right?
You hate change. You hate.
I am. I'm an
something
old-fashioned and I hate change.
And then when something comes back bigger and better, you still hate it.
I still hate it because I like the way it was.
I miss Speed Channel.
Same, man. Me
I'm-
too.
Or the
Sorry, I
speed
didn't mean to break your arm right there.
No, you're
The
good.
speed stage at track.
I'm like a
Oh,
Ric
man.
Flair chopper when I get happy.
Yeah.
I miss those days. I mean, that was my childhood. You know, get off the bus on Friday and the speed song would come on and Budweiser qualifying.
Well, so, man, you know, like you remember what was the Friday night show they did on Speed from 7 to 8 every Friday?
Couldn't tell you.
I
There was so many.
Was it
good
Wind
shows.
Tunnel? You talking about with
No,
Davis?
I know it
Davis
was
Dane.
live.
That was a good
it
one.
Was it
Davis Dane was
Trackside
good.
Live? I don't know what they called it on Friday night. No, Sunday morning was Trackside Live. But like
Yeah.
the Friday night show was Steve Burns, Jeff
Oh, yeah.
Hammond, Elliott Sadler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, that show was the bomb. And when it went away, I cried.
It was like college game day stuff.
It
bro.
was.
It was awesome.
And then same deal on Sunday morning, man. You know, Kenny Wallace.
you had stuff all day on TV, like going
So
on
what
to
the happened? Like yesterday, they don't even interview Josh Berry, who finishes, you know, career high
Yeah,
best,
third.
and then they break away to some bowling replay. Like, man.
I miss Victory Lane, too.
But I miss Benny Parsons on Monday,
Weren't they
Monday night.
staying? I thought they were rolling into a post-race show sometimes, or was that later in the year?
I think NBC.
Yeah, they rolled into like a
did
post-race
more
show.
post-race.
I agree. Listen, as a fan, do away with all the pre-race bullshit.
All more post-race.
Exactly. Like if you got an hour on either side, I want all the post race.
Same.
Like you know,
I want all the driver. I want to hear
all the drivers
yeah.
going to say the same before the race starts.
Yeah.
We just hope to have a good run. We want a clean day. Learn. Like,
Yeah.
all right, you got 10 guys saying the same thing. Now, after you put post race, it's like that son of a run into me. And you know, like
Yeah. I mean, you could do a 30-minute pre-race show leading up to it.
You could do a 30-minute Chris Buescher interview after the race yesterday.
Yeah, and I definitely
Don't
think
you worry,
like
we'll get to
a
that.
30-minute to an hour, you know, afterwards. Like that's what happens with big football games and stuff. You talk about things that happen in there, and that's when you get the interviews and stuff like that. And that's what I want to see.
Same.
Well, before we head to break, next Thursday is JRM Fan Day, and your favorite Dirty Mo podcast, Door Bumper Clear, will be live on stage. 11:15 a.m. We'll preview all the action for Charlotte Motor Speedway, plus tons more. Stay tuned for more details. Just check out Dirty Mo Media's social channels. Also, you can sign up for our newsletter at dirtymomedia.com. And so we will see y'all May 23rd.
Did you see this tweet?
No,
that
don't
Casey
start.
sent? No.
Okay,
I
we're
was saying,
good.
it's nothing to do with NASCAR. We might get called to the Formula One hauler, but not the NASCAR hauler.
Oh, yeah.
Formula One got a race in Chicago.
What?
Well, it
2026.
is
Oh.
Signed. Says
allegedly.
Bulletproof.
Says the
That's
contract
500.
to bring Formula One to Chicago has been signed.
Formula One has not announced
Double
it yet,
header.
but
Hey,
yes.
for the first time ever, last week, F1 beat NASCAR. 3 million viewers.
Yeah, I mean, obviously network
Well, that
versus
just it shows
cable.
what Verstappen does when he wins every week.
He lost.
He lost.
I know, meaning like
Well,
the
I'm not
ratings
gonna
go
lie.
up.
The ratings probably went up too because of Lando. Like
The ratings went up because we had a rain delay.
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
And it was network versus cable, which is always
Yeah.
a big
Which
difference.
is
So on this note, obviously NASCAR had Chicago first. what does it mean for Formula One now?
This says, according to this article, which is the fastest pit stop, they have, I don't know, a couple 100,000 followers, so I'm assuming they're somewhat reputable. The race would be 2026, which I think our contract was a 3-year deal, which would have been end in 25.
And the mayor didn't cancel it, so yeah.
So, but I'm saying that 3-year deal would end in 25, I think. Yeah. So I don't know how they overlap. If they both, Chicago's doing a big, they're trying to build a big football stadium down there, I think, on the water.
Oh, they were going to move it, and now they're not going to move it.
Yeah. Dude, that rendering. The only problem I have is there was absolutely no parking.
None.
There is no parking.
You have to go by boat.
There's the same reason we don't get rental cars down there. There's nowhere to park.
Lord. Yeah. I mean, even if you can park over where the racetrack is, that's not near where the stadium's going to be.
No.
What about tailgating? I don't know, really. How do you tailgate?
I don't know what the plan is.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we will start our spot off segment before Brett gets fired. NASCAR fans, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is here. And right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you bet your first $5.
Just go to FanDuel.com/DBC to sign up. Then you can bet on everything from individual race winners to prop bets to which driver is going to take home the championship. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use.
Start your engine with $200 in bonus bets. Win or lose when you place your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/DBC to get started. FanDuel, authorized gaming operator of NASCAR.
21 and up and present in NC. First online real money wager only. $10 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanthegame.nc.gov. First topic, Ryan Blaney is quite upset with William Byron following their contact in the race at Darlington yesterday. Butterbean, spot on, spot off.
I mean, I don't know how you would say it because technically Byron made it 3 wide, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I think Byron put him in that position. So, I don't know what that means.
So, he should not have put them 3 wide?
Should Blaney be mad at Byron?
Over Truex, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy in the middle probably loses the nose probably when all that happens.
The guy in the middle 5 years ago would have lifted.
But now he probably can't.
TJ, would he have lifted?
Oh, yeah, you'd have been sideways.
So y'all say Martin didn't do anything wrong right here.
Martin didn't do anything wrong.
Martin did anything wrong.
Martin would have lifted 5 years ago.
Yeah, but he's not driving the same car he was 5 years ago.
Yeah, this is a different car. This car is not.
So everybody just rolls through there wide ass open and you hope you don't wreck.
Well, yeah, you hope the other guy don't move up.
You hope the guy that put you 3 wide doesn't run you into the guy on the outside.
You hope the guy on the inside doesn't move up to the guy in the middle and he moves up into the other guy because that's what happened.
I saw the replay. I didn't see it live. I saw the replay of it, so I was trying to go back through it. But I don't know. It's a tough call there because.
Who are you mad at if you're the driver?
Both of them. I'm mad at all of them.
Mad at everybody.
I think Ryan Blaney's probably having a frustrating season, so it probably doesn't take much to send him over.
It never takes much to send him off anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure him and Byron aren't the best of friends right now anyway, so.
Freddie, spot on, spot off.
I was spot on for being mad at Byron. I think it's William takes him 3 wide. It's at that point William's job to give the guys on the outside enough room. If you're going to put these guys in this position, you have to leave them room to race, And I know he was trying to get clear of Martin. And could Martin have lifted? Absolutely. But if Martin had lifted, guess what he's not going to do? Pass the 12 or the 24 the rest of that run. Just that's a product of this car. And you can't give up opportunities on restarts. We saw it a couple weeks ago with Tyler and Bubba and Zane. And you have to take every opportunity you got. And I don't fault William for making, the lane opens up for him. He's got to go for it. He can't just ride back there because then somebody's probably going to pass him on the top. So it's just, it's kind of the gentleman's agreement of if you're going to take us 3 wide down there, you're going to have to give us a chance to get off the corner. We've already talked about how tight turn 2 is. He just never got clear and then moved up. And when you move up and there's 2 guys outside of you, the 2 guys are going to wreck. And once again, I heard Blaney even say it, the guy that causes the wreck and wrecks 2 really good cars comes out of the deal scot-free, and probably I don't even know where he ended up finishing, but he came out of that deal in the top 5 still. So I think it's on William. If you're going to put yourselves in that position, if you're going to be the one to put everybody in that position, you got to be the one to also have consideration for the guys outside of you. And he's lucky he didn't get hooked in the fence at the same time.
Brett,
I think the gentleman's agreement's dead as f***.
Oh, it has to be.
It's dead. Like, let's not even talk about racing etiquette on here anymore in the Cup Series because it's gone. Did that warrant a caution?
Probably. I think so. Just because I don't know that was debris, but I mean their shit was wrecked. So I'm assuming there was debris down the backstretch.
Plenty of hard.
I think William was being aggressive. I think William certainly slid up. I think Martin, if he had it to do over again, he would have lifted and let William have that lane because whether you like it or not, William had position. William also has 3 wind stickers on the side of his car. His give a probably pretty low, and that's what makes it great racing.
See, I think if anybody, I'm mad at William because he's the one that, like Freddie says,
William's the nicest guy out there. Y'all said.
I'm not. I mean, I don't blame him for
Y'all
going.
are mad at him.
I'm not mad at him. He didn't affect me.
Gained me 3 spots.
He's the one that created
Y'all
a
should be
scenario.
happy with William.
I mean, we were in front of it, so I don't care. He created the scenario. I can tell you, turn 2 is at least 2 wide. I can tell you what it's not, and it's not. You can't go 3 wide off of turn 2, and he was in the position.
Martin thought you could.
No, William must thought you could because he's the one to enter down there, and he was going to stay down there. I mean, if you don't clear the guy, where do you go?
Into him.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly. So if you drive into a spot and you don't, he went in there hoping to clear, and when he doesn't clear, at that point, you kind of got to concede, in my opinion, or you.
I agree. Truex probably now, like if he'd have known that's what was going to happen, he probably would have lifted the race later on. But at the time, like I'm not lifting. Like if I'm in that position,
Well, go to Care Center.
If you put your internet down, you're done.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it's a tough call, really. I mean, because who knew how it was going to turn out?
I just don't think. I mean, it's exciting.
You got a crew chief in your ear, you got a spotter in your ear, and they're all telling you, "Hey, man, you got to get it on this restart. If you don't get it on this restart, you ain't gonna get it.
Gonna pass them
you ain't gonna pass them, man. You got to go."
Yeah, I mean, you do have that, but I think that's a little out of character for William. It's not out of character to make them move, but it's out of character for him to move up and them not figure out the exit of the corner.
You saw in Williams' interview, it was almost. Sometimes like part of our job is to know the tendencies of the guys around.
I agree.
You. And like if you got Ross Chastain behind you at 1.5 miles, you're like he's going to try to take you 3 wide and 1. That's just what he's going to do. Or there's guys out there. William almost seemed surprised in his interview that was even possible. He's like, man, he's like all of a sudden the lane opened up and I just shot it in there. Like I said, if he doesn't, we talked about it on here last week. If you just follow a guy in the corner, you're going to lose a nose. You're going to, especially if you're on the bottom. We were giving up a row yesterday to take the top, because the top was beneficial off of 2. You get a much better run down the back straightaway, and we would break even at least. We would give up basically 2 spots to break even, and I think William just went into 1, and that lane opened up, and he's like, "Oh, look, I can go through here." Now thinking, you start up enough, I'm going to get clear. And like you said, I mean, he definitely had position. I mean, Martin was probably at his rear wheel, but maybe behind his rear wheel, but he's still there, and you can't just move up if he's still there. I'm sure Brenden was telling him 3 wide, I'm sure he knows, but at that point you just got to bail.
Most time when they get to that spot, the guy gets in the wake and he starts losing the nose. That's the spot where you start losing it. But the problem is Blaney's still out there.
Yeah.
And that's where it got tricky. And Larson actually tried the same move on us the next restart, and Brad wasn't going to lift through the middle either. I mean, you're in the second best position to come off that corner. The bottom ain't where you want to be.
And you see it. I mean, talking about it too, like your point, 3 wide is absolutely can't happen. 2 wide there was points yesterday where your guys are trying to make passes on the bottom and they're throttling up in the center and they're not going to make the exit. And you got the option. You have the choice right there is. Am I just going to run this guy in the fence, or do I have to lift? And there was multiple times where guys you had to lift and let that guy go back around on the outside to keep you guys from wrecking. And I think William just took a shot and it didn't work out.
So Butterbean, there have been times in my career at Darlington where they're coming off two, you're keyed up, and you literally your butt draws up. Like, does your butt ever draw up in the seat? Because as a spotter, my butt's drawn up a few times.
Spot on, spot off.
Spot on. There's been moments of that, you know, blowing or cutting a left rear going to the quarter. Did that the other week. So there's moments, but there is moments you come up the quarter and you go, I don't know if we're gonna make it. You know, I mean, it's just,
and then what do you like? So, you know, and probably maybe the turkey, you know, the race at Kenley is a good example. I mean, is there ever points in that run where, I mean, you guys are back and forth, you know, side by side, 3 wide at times. Is there ever a point where you're just like, I'm sending it and I hope we don't all wreck right here?
I mean, you do. Like, it's such it's a finesse feel. Like, you know who you're racing if they can save these kind of hits, but sometimes the hit gets harder or in a bad spot. And, like, one time I went and hit Barry, and I bottomed out as I hit him, so it made it look even worse. And you're just hoping that when he gives it back to you, he don't catch you in the wheel or something in the wrong spot, and something stupid happens. So I don't know. You don't ever go in there going, oh, I'm going to run this guy, and then we're going to come up the corner and like run right in the wall or something. But happens.
Speaking of aggressive moves, Casey.
Yes, perfect segue. Spot on, spot off. Tyler Reddick's slide attempt on Chris Buescher was too aggressive with 10 laps to go. Oh, Brett.
Y'all ain't going to like my answer on this.
I have a feeling.
Chris Buescher was already in a fence when Tyler hit him. He was already wrecked.
No, he wasn't.
Tyler 100% screwed up. I will say this.
Also, they weren't going to hit if Chris doesn't hit the fence.
No, they were going to hit because Tyler's an idiot.
Okay, then what you just said is completely irrelevant.
Tyler Reddick was sitting in the same seat Butterbean was in when I asked him the question, how many races have you give away? Right?
Yeah.
He gave away another one yesterday. If he just stayed off of him right there, he was going to win the race. To your benefit, I'm glad he didn't because I like you, TJ, brother. You believe it or not, and I'm glad you won.
I mean,
but if Tyler would have just calmed the down for a hot second, Buescher was in the fence, and he went up there and smoked him anyway.
Yeah,
but do you think that, I mean, there were drivers in the fence pretty much all day, and they were fine.
It scrubs your speed.
Chris was driving off.
He was going for a slide job. He didn't make it. And I will say this. I don't know Chris Buescher. I've never had a conversation with Chris Buescher. I don't have his phone number. I admire the fact that he's an Xfinity Series champion. I admire the fact that he's won 4 or 5 Cup races. This guy, I've never seen him pissed off. Holy pissed off.
He reminded me of Austin Hill.
Holy pissed off. Like, he grabbed him.
Do you think that was the right move for before talking to Tyler, going up and grabbing him
yes,
right away?
I would have.
What? You talked to him first.
No,
Tyler
you don't.
literally took the blame.
Okay, but you listen. He can apologize while you're trying to punch him in the face. That's all there is.
Wow. Now you want Tyler to get punched.
No, I don't. I don't.
Buescher was in shock almost. Like,
yeah, like why?
And
you know,
and he didn't know what to say. Yes, agreed.
That's what happened with me in Millington. When he took the blame, I'm like,
it's like you walk up to somebody like, Freddie, you're a dickhead. You go, yes, I am.
That happens all the time, actually. But, yeah, I mean, listen, I'm going to be a homer because I'm 100% a Tyler Reddick fan. He's a good friend of mine. He definitely royally up in this situation, but he owned it, you know, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's just one of the, you know, we give certain guys crap on here because they make mistakes like that regularly almost, or they're over aggressive. And this is not the way Tyler Reddick races, in my opinion. I think that it comes back a lot to, like we were just talking about with this, you know, the rest restart, the car, you know, and you know, there's in years past and cars past, I thought Tyler was the fastest car at the end of the race. You know, after, you know, you guys were about even. Tyler got ahead of you. I thought Tyler was better than the 17 on the longer run. And I was actually having a conversation. Bernard Power texted me this last night because he's always asking questions, wanting to know. He's like, man, was that Tyler's fault? I said, yes, 1,000% Tyler's fault.
He didn't want it to be Tyler's fault.
He didn't want it to be. Like, he's such a nice guy. I think he likes everybody. He didn't want him to be wrong.
He did not want that to be Tyler's fault.
So I was like, it's 1,000% Tyler's fault. I said, hey, by no means did he do it on purpose. I said, but what happens is now, you know, the older cars, you know, if you're better than a guy, especially a place like Darlington, you know you're going to get him. You know, I'm all right, I'm running this guy down. I just need to pick my spot, set him up. I'm going to get him. With this car, we talked about it on here a couple weeks ago. You know, the drivers talk about how you can play defense with this car. And Chris is very good at it also. He's got a great spotter in Herm that knows how to play defense. And what happens is if you're able to get any kind of run on a guy, you might start to feel like this is my only shot. I might not get back to this position. You know, we talked about how hard it is to just even affect their aero balance,
especially with his car.
You know, and if he gets that big run off of 2 and he's there, what happens is he goes into 3 and he's going to overdrive the entry to 3. Chris sees that. Chris is now going to jump in the throttle, trying, to play defense on that. So that's why Chris gets in the fence. And Tyler doesn't get clear. But, probably I would say, I don't know. What do you think, TJ? The 1/3 mark to the center, Tyler realizes this ain't going to work. You know what I mean? And it's now
when you hear still there.
Now it's panic.
Yeah.
And it's and he probably jumps out of the throttle. The thing snaps sideways. He overcorrects it, stuffs both of them in the fence and cuts their tires, which, like you said, Chris was in the fence. He was going to be fine. But once Tyler stuffs him in the fence is when it ruins both of their days. And it's unfortunate because, like I said, I love Tyler and it's not malicious. And I felt so bad for him listening after the race where he's just like, I'm sorry. It's genuine. But Chris has every right to be pissed because there's a huge difference in locked in that chase versus only plus 17 to the goods today.
There are just so many drivers in the sport that it was easy to stay mad at and be mad at. I just feel like Tyler's one of those guys that, like Chris Buescher probably woke up this morning and sent Tyler a message and was like, I'm sorry I touched you.
I bet he did not.
Okay, well, maybe.
I bet that probably didn't have that. But, yeah, Freddie had it right. I mean, it just didn't work. And he went for it and it didn't work. But what was wrong with second at that point? You know what I mean?
Were you going to be happy running second?
He's done it a few times before lately.
I also think that what plays into it, a lot of it is Tyler dominated the race. You know what I mean? Like he was the best car. You talked about, taking off early in the run, but he led. I don't know how many laps he led. I'm sure it was about half the race. It seemed like anyway. And I think that plays. If it's us, if we're running 7th or 8th all day and we somehow cycle to second on a restart, obviously we want to win. And I'm sure, if we get in that position, we might take that risk. But it's different. Like I feel like the mindset of a driver and Butterbean, you could talk to this. Like if you're dominating a race and lose the lead, lose the lead on a restart. You're going to do anything you can to get it back, as opposed to like maybe you cycled up to second and you're like, oh, I'm having a good run, I'm just going to stay here.
Yeah, it's a lot harder when you've dominated. It makes it a lot harder to lose it right at the end, especially when you probably still have the faster car. But I've learned from Dominion, obviously. I would do a million things different to try to win the race a different way. But in the moment, man, it's just hard. You don't like. I'm spot on for him being too aggressive there because he and I'm more spot on that he owned it. Because it could have been something to drive it in there and then, whatever.
Got loose.
Yeah, so.
Racing deal.
Yeah, that's right. I don't blame him for trying to win the race, but it definitely was very aggressive.
Last week, Michael McDowell announced that he'll be leaving Front Row Motorsports and joining Spire at the end of the season. Spot on, spot off, Brett.
Oh, man. This is big news. This guy's leaving a newly formed Tier 1 OEM Ford camp for Spire Motorsports. All I'll really say about this deal is there are provisions in drivers' contracts that say when and who they can talk to, right? So obviously Michael was in a position where he could talk and negotiate and exit his current team. That's not very common. I think if Front Row, had that provision or did not have that provision in there, they will in the future because this is not the earliest silly season has ever started, right? Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, they both announced they were going to go somewhere 16, 18 months before the year they were going was even going to happen, right? So, I remember Kevin announced at Phoenix that, 2 years from now I'm going to go to Stuart Haas. And Kurt Busch announced, boom, I'm going here, right? So it's not like silly season started earlier. It starts whenever somebody approaches you or whenever you have a conversation with somebody. But, listen, good old Michael McDowell, Daytona 500 winner, a hell of a human being. And when I tell you all that, I'm not going to go into the guy's personal life, but hell of a human being. This guy is as phenomenal off the racetrack as you can possibly be in terms of what he does for kids and what he does for family. I was shocked, and I think I text Freddie, And I was like, man, this has got to be a payday, right? Like something is motivating this guy because he's running well. I mean, he had a chance to win races this year. So and for drivers to say, hey, I'm going to leave a really competitive situation, holy crap, that's hard to do.
Yeah, and especially, and we'll get to it here in a minute, I think, but there's a lot of rumors out there that Front Row is taking a major step forward. We already know that they're probably going to be a Tier 1 partner if they're not already. And he was always kind of the flagship guy there since he's gotten there. Like, he was bringing good people in and progressing that team greatly, it seemed like. And now they go out and win last year at Indy, get in the playoffs. They had speed this year, top 10 yesterday, obviously really fast at all the plate races. And it, like I said, we talk about it all the time on here about key partners versus them second-tier partners. And you're leaving a key partner now at Front Row to go to a second tier, right? I mean, there's no chance Spire's a Tier 1 Chevy team next year. You know what I mean? So, but to your point, you talked about it specifically on here last week about Ricky Stenhouse. You get that. It seemed to me like Michael's been on one-year deals the entire time that he's been over there. And now one of the biggest things I know he talked about in his press conference was this was a multi-year deal, and you get that security, and that's a big deal over there. And we know, we've seen it last year firsthand on our side of things. Spire's going to do whatever it takes to go out and get the best people. And that's probably what they did here. Whether you want to call it a payday, whether it's the security, whatever it is, they're going to do whatever it takes to get the best people in-house over there to advance their program, and this is no different, TJ.
Yeah, that's what I think is better for Michael is just the stability of where you're going to race for the next few years. I think it's going to be harder for him to run well because I think he's gotten really good with the group they've got, and they got a lot of good chemistry going over there and have had a lot of speed here. And that's I think it's going to be hard to step into another situation like this and have that because they've built that team up. And they've done a really good job at it. So, but the stability that he has, it had to be really good for him personally. Otherwise, I don't think he would.
I'm gonna put Butterbean on the spot right here.
Good.
You think he's ready for this?
Because I was getting ready to.
All right, hey, hold on a minute. You don't know what I'm gonna ask you. Would you rather be turning riches for Zane Smith or Michael McDowell?
You got. I mean, I think you got to go with Michael McDowell, right? Because he's got the experience. He can win races. Zane's not quite to that, which I don't know if it's the team car, whatever, but I know Spire's been struggling. But back to the other one, I'm with you. Like, I think it's the multi-year deal and the money, because why else would you leave where you're at? You can make the playoffs. You're probably not going to make the playoffs next year, or might not make it the whole time you're there unless he's bringing. I heard a rumor that the crew chief might go with him and stuff like that.
That's the thing too, man. Like the crew chief he had, when the crew chief left Blake, right?
Yeah.
He left to go to Bowman.
Yep.
I thought that guy was going to take the speed with him, and he didn't. They're still fast.
Yeah. Well, you're saying take the speed away from Front Row.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, I didn't think Michael McDowell would continue to be as good as he was when Blake was his crew chief, and Blake left, and he's just as good as he was, if not better.
So it all goes back to how many people he brings with him. Probably his more than just.
But that's still, you're still like the support. You're not.
A lot of rumors that Custer takes that seat. What do you think?
I don't know. There's so many rumors right now.
It's crazy.
So, that's what I was getting at earlier when I said, we're talking about silly season fired up. Like the announced deals are not silly season to me. The silly season is the rumors. If you announce a deal, that takes it off. Like McDowell, and to that point, I've seen some people saying, like, why the hell would McDowell announce this now when we're in May and you're going to run the rest of this race in a 34 car? Because guess what? We have no secrets. And if you're signing this deal with Spire, somebody's going to know.
Go back to Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin.
Reddick, when Denny said they snuck that deal in on RCR and announced it without, bang, bang, bang. Tyler, but before Denny drove from Winston to the shop, and the news was already leaking out before that. So if you're going to announce this and you want to do it the right way, you have to announce it, or else it's going to get out, and you don't want people hearing this shit secondhand or finding out about it on the internet. Especially somebody like Michael that's been there and meant so much to Front Row. I think the way he did it was right. And you can have all the questions you want about whether his performance is going to step up or down, but I think announcing it now is something you have to do.
I think Hocevar is a hell of a driver. And McCoy LaJoy finished 16th yesterday. He also had a spotter change. I don't know if we're going to talk about that or not. Zane Smith is not relevant in that car right now. He's under contract with Trackhouse. He's obviously now moving to Trackhouse. A lot of rumors out there. A lot of rumors out there as to how that Trackhouse thing is going to play out.
So yeah, like, and you
talked about Chris Rice earlier. The rumors are, and Chris Rice is going to be on here in 2 weeks. And when he's sitting right here where Butterbean's sitting, I'm going to flat out ask him, "Are you merging with Trackhouse?"
Yeah,
so he better be ready for that. And if he don't show up, then y'all going to know that he don't want to answer the question.
And this is when Chris announces it before.
So you know, and to your point, Brett, the rumors are out there. The Stewart Haas. The latest, this Stewart Haas deal changes day to day. It seems like, but the latest rumor, the one that's gained the most traction, is they're selling 2 charters to Front Row, and they're building and basically, going away. They're going to sell the other 2 charters to whoever's in the market to buy them. Which, by the way, I'm hearing the numbers that are quite substantially lower than what BJ paid last year. Now I don't know. I think that charter deal gets done
legend
BJ McLeod.
BJ McLeod, the legend.
I think that charter deal gets done probably next month or so, or, announced maybe. I don't know. But I think the closer we get to that charter deal, the numbers probably go back up. But, yeah, to your point, if that deal goes away, there's 4 drivers there.
Are you under contract as a spotter?
TJ's not going to answer that.
No, he can. He ain't going nowhere, so he can
You're
answer.
not.
So are you under contract with RFK?
Yeah.
How long is your contract through?
Mine's up this year.
It's up
I already
year.
had some guy tweet me saying, "Thanks, you're going to be missed on the 6 car." So he knew. He's
firing
I
you?
know. Yeah, I guess.
So does your contract prohibit you from talking to another team?
Yes.
Michael McDowell obviously didn't have that in his contract. Neither did Tyler Reddick. Neither did whoever else that announces they're leaving this far out. Like, it's
nobody ever does that, though.
No.
Nobody ever talks to other people.
No, nobody talks to anybody.
To get back to just, you hear, so now you got Stewart Haas. If they're going away,
Yeah.
You
think they're going away altogether?
No.
I think so.
Really?
I think so. I think it's possible. I think it's very possible
That they just go away?
I think that they have some kind of either.
You don't think they retain 2 charters and keep going?
I don't think so.
I don't think it goes away.
You don't think so either?
I don't think it goes away.
Do you think
I don't
that
think it goes
they'll
away.
You don't think it goes away?
Listen,
No.
It's I don't know. I think that they're going to sell these 2 charters to Front Row. Now, whether or not Front Row runs both of those charters or leases one is going to be interesting. I think I could see easily 3 full-time cars.
I don't think the leasing thing is as easily done as it was.
I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think that's somewhere where it might be heading. I think I agree with. I hear that rumor about Cole Custer heading there a lot. I hear a lot of teams are in on Noah Gragson right now, which is obviously understandable. Great personality, has a tie to Bass Pro. There's some surprising teams that you hear about talking about him. The Wood brothers, Harrison's out. I think that's common knowledge now. I think that I think a big thing of that. I don't know how much it plays into it. Congratulations, John Wood. Is kind of taking the helm of Wood Brothers Racing there. We see this all the time in sports where, a new GM takes over, they want to bring in their guys. They want to bring in their coach, their driver, whatever you want to call it. So it'd be interesting to see there. Like I would say,
who is that?
I would say Briscoe would probably be the guy that I would say is the front runner. I don't know.
That's the rumor.
I think Ford is not going to let Briscoe go. I think Ford's going to make sure they hang on to Chase Briscoe. Now, if that's the 21, if that's maybe an RFK car that maybe they're in the market for a charter, if there's going to be a Ford.
I heard you're buying a charter.
I might buy one. If I could, I would right now.
So if you're Dale, who has been known to shop around for charters and previously
Dale's not buying one at this price. He's going to have some kind of partner.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he shops around too much.
Yeah, I think
he
might
waits in the weeds.
I think he might. Dale's an eBay guy. He's trying to swoop in. He's trying to swoop in and steal a charter from somebody late.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff going out there that it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But that everything kind of like you see the first, like, and you talked about it, the dominoes. So McDowell is coming to Spire. Okay, well that doesn't make sense. They got 3 guys already. Well, Zane's leaving. All right, well where the hell is Zane going? Because Trackhouse ain't just not going to run Zane a Cup next year, which I don't know. Maybe they might want to consider at this point.
Yeah.
But
by the way, SVG.
Yeah. So you need 3 charters.
Lot of seats.
You need 4.
You need 4. And then there's
SVG's 38 years old. What's your 5-year plan with him?
Yeah, and like to Brett's point, there's a team sitting there with 2 Cup charters that's not running well right now that you already have some kind of alliance with because SVG's in your Xfinity car. So it makes a lot of sense there. We'll see. I'll let Brett hammer Chris down.
Well, Blake brought up a good point. I mean, with conversations now, are there even charters next year? Do you know that?
Yeah,
answer?
that deal's going to get done. I don't know
It'll
when.
happen.
It's probably in the next month or two. But
NASCAR has said we're going to come back with an offer, and I'm telling y'all right now, this is the take it or leave it offer. There's no way they're coming to a negotiation. This is we've sat on this since Daytona, since February, and we've thought about it, and here you go.
Yeah, I mean, you probably know more about the ins and outs of it. I just know I feel like talking to people in the garage that the deal is nearing completion. It's going to be done within the next month or two. We appreciate you coming by. Good luck this weekend, and don't run into my truck, the 25.
Yeah.
So what days are you racing?
Wednesday and Saturday.
Which means if
Wednesday
you
and Saturday.
are able to, you better get yourself to Wilkesboro this weekend because
Bean Nation, rise up.
they're
Is that
Bean
it?
Nation.
Bean Nation. We got Bean Nation.
Bean Nation.
We got T-shirts. Can we get a T-shirt?
Well, I will hook y'all up with some shirts.
yes, please.
Yeah, we're gonna need that
send
for
me,
sure.
Send me y'all's sizes.
We're all 4X.
Big. That's the size.
Just send your car
yeah.
cover. We'll make a couple.
Just
I ate a lot of
XL.
butter beans.
Hey, I got 4X's in the Waffle House Butterbean shirts too. So
Hey, I'm a fan,
yeah.
dude. I'm pulling for you.
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have fun this
Hey,
weekend,
thanks
man.
for
Hey, don't suck. Because I don't like to pull for people that suck.
Me neither.
I promise
My
you-
girlfriend told me I can't come home if I don't win. So
Brett, I
that's
got
how it
news
goes.
for
That's
you.
tough.
Man,
You're
I should
gonna-
say that to
You're not
Chad.
gonna like this. He's an Eagles fan too.
Is he? That's all right.
Yeah, he's
That's
a
all right.
Cowboys fan.
Oh, my girlfriend's a Cowboys fan.
Giants fan.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Nah, I don't
oh,
need-
you're a Bill.
Nah,
Sorry,
we ain't
yeah.
gonna talk about
Yeah,
that. That's
right.
bullshit.
What,
Last
what
year.
happened when Philly played them?
The referees.
Oh, okay.
The referees.
All right. Well,
man. Thank y'all.
thanks for joining us. We're going to take a quick break.
Bean Nation.
Bean
Nation.
Nation.
Bean
Rise
Nation.
up.
Rise
Listen,
up.
When we come back, we will hear y'all's thoughts on Reaction Theater.
Now it's time for our favorite segment, Reaction Theater, where it's your turn to be heard. Reaction Theater is brought to you every week by Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has fast, reliable nationwide coverage as the leading carriers with plans as low as $20 a month.
And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE. That's MONTHFREE by May 31st. Let's go to the calls.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm on my piss break right now. I just wanted to call and say, William Byron, you you. Putting them 3 wide. I mean, what the man, you. Tiny-ass brain of yours. You still got to use it. No matter how small it is. You still got to use it. It's the motion of the ocean. All right?
Oh.
And the ocean is telling you 3 wide. Don't work into turn 1, okay?
It works in a turn 1. It just don't work off a turn 2.
Yeah, it doesn't
Man.
work. On the exit.
I don't know
Dude.
where the motion of that guy. First of all, did he say he was on a piss break?
He did.
Is that what we started with? Just
Did in
checking.
fact say that.
We can't be mad at people for going 3 wide. Let's establish that right now. Because if we don't
I'm
go
not
3
mad.
wide,
I'm not mad at him.
I can't be
I
mad at
know.
that call. That was
I know you won the
entertaining.
race.
But does it depend on the track?
I'm not mad at 3 wide.
If
I'm not mad at 3
you gotta
wide.
be, but you gotta respect the guys that are next to you.
Yeah, if you enter in lane 1, you have to stay in lane 1. If you move into lane 2, you're in the wrong.
Guess what, TJ? You don't suck. Brad just won the damn race.
That's it. TJ didn't suck.
Yeah,
yesterday.
I mean,
Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean,
This week.
guess if you don't
what'd you
win.
do to celebrate?
Went home.
No, you went. I assume you went down there.
Yeah, I went down there in Victory Lane for a while, and
I saw your video from Victory Lane.
yeah, so Andrew was down there, Curland, and I saw him for a little bit. But I don't know, man. That was my first couple in with Brad, so it was kind of
wow.
Yeah, it was kind of.
Didn't realize that.
You know, we've been close, and I mean, you know, we've talked after every race, and I mean, I feel like we've had so many conversations about. I can't believe that happened. We
So
were
did
going to
Steve
win.
Barkdahl win Brad's first Cup race? Was
I
that who
think
was spotting for him?
Steve's got a win with Brad too. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
At Talladega.
Shout out to Barkdahl.
Yeah, he was starting that other race.
Barkdall's
Yep.
the best.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool, and to see his kids, see the girls down there real happy and stuff. They were when they were taking the car out to tech, they were pushing the car, so it was cool to see the family atmosphere there. And
What's that, 33, 34 wins for that guy?
yeah, he's in the 30s.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's
Yep.
a big deal.
It's a lot of wins.
Dude,
I mean,
that's a lot of wins.
it is.
Now that right there is a championship quality track. championship quality track, championship quality race. You got freaking brother-in-laws about to whoop each other's ass. You got Chris Buescher about to lawn dart Tyler Reddick somewhere. People pissed off, people happy. Hell of a run by the 4 team and Justin Haley. Come on. That's just good boys. Just good.
You heard them.
That's the title of the show this week.
Just good.
I mean, he's not wrong. It was a phenomenal race yesterday.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for in a race. Comers and goers, different strategies, guys wrecking each other. Guys, we say all the time, you want to see these guys wreck, and they were wrecking yesterday.
Tire management, really side-by-side racing. Had a little bit of everything. Pit stop strat. You could run 2 strategies, which made it interesting as well. You could run the short one or the long one, and they both had benefits at times.
My heart broke when they moved the Southern 500 to California. My heart broke again when they moved the Saturday Mother's Day weekend race to Kansas. And then Darlington went to 1 date, and then now it's back the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Twice at the best track in America.
It's a great racetrack.
It is.
Damn, Chris Buescher pushing up on Tyler Reddick looks like a damn gym teacher beating up on a 6th grader. Pick on someone your own size, Chris.
Is Buescher a big dude?
He's a lot bigger than Reddick. I'd say that.
He's not like he's just
TJ's
me
bigger
of,
than Reddick.
The bar's pretty low
Casey's
there.
bigger than Reddick.
I think he reminds me of like a Newman. He's just stocky. You know what I mean? Like
Stalky. Like
just,
corn? It's stocky.
Stalky.
So,
It
yeah.
ain't stalky. It's stocky.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah, it's like a stalk. Yeah.
So is he 5'9", 5'10"?
Yeah, I'd say he's
Probably.
probably my height. Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
somewhere that 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah.
So he ain't going to dunk on you.
You know what? The scary part about it is you never see him mad.
Oh.
So
yeah,
when
I
you
was freaking out.
when you get him mad, you've done something. So
It was, I mean, and this has been a brutal 2 weeks for him.
yeah, I mean,
you lose a heartbreaker, which, oh, by the way, is the closest finish in history, so you're going to get to see that about another 1,000,000 times in your lifetime.
and then you're leading and
then you're leading and get
you
wrecked.
get torpedoed by a guy.
Man.
The Reddick Rocket.
Hey, Mr. Majors, this is Steve from Party Supplies and Wildlife. Look, I don't want to judge a man on what he's into or how he wants to celebrate, but there is no way I'm sending a 55-gallon drum of Cool Whip, a pair of sheep, and a slip and slide. You do you, man, but I'm not putting another one of my signs in the yard when you and your buddies get so wasted you violate my sheep. Oh, wait, that reminds me. Mr. Kraft, your usual order is ready for pickup. Have a good day, gentlemen.
Sorry, guys. Party's off, I guess.
I saw that. I saw last night, like, people, it's so funny that you just, at times I feel bad for TJ because he kind of gets lumped into our shenanigans multiple times. And yesterday I was like, TJ is going to be hammered on the podcast tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, you guys don't know TJ very well.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. I will say that if you would have seen me, 15 years ago,
yeah.
that's a good thing we didn't have a podcast 15 years ago because
None of us would have been here.
I mean, it didn't matter back then. It didn't matter like the beginning of the show there. If you won the race or if you finished 30th, we were partying after the race, and especially close ones like this or Charlotte or whatever. It didn't matter if you won or not. You were hanging out and partying, and I was probably up till the sun came up most of them times.
Woo! Brad finally gets himself a win there in Darlington. That was awesome. It's got me a little bit emotional. My mascara is almost as running as bad as his was. Casey's boyfriend, Tyler, there, he's about as short on brains as he is on height. That move was never going to work. And finally, even Darlington is able to put on a good show with this absolute engineered scrap race car that we have. Can't wait till we finally move on to the next generation of race cars. So happy for Brad. Congratulations, TJ. You've been holding that team back for so long, but it's great to see you guys get a win. We out. Holla.
Did you see TJ after the race, Brad?
I saw his little video.
Oh, you didn't see him climbing the fence on the front straightaway?
No, he climbed it.
You didn't?
Yeah, I went right up it.
Did you honestly not see the
No,
video of the guy
honestly,
climbing the fence?
uh-uh.
I thought it was TJ too.
I figured it was TJ.
Way up there.
I mean, he climbed the front stretch fence.
Like
he fell down twice trying to do
South
it.
Carolinians are.
if you're going to climb a fence, how high are you going up over
Well,
the
the
curve?
problem is it gets that curve.
That's what I'm saying.
Like a straight fence, I'm okay with it. Like, I could probably my fat ass ain't getting up there anymore. But back in the day, I probably could have climbed a straight. But when you get to that curve, I'd be really worried
Do you
about
stop
just
at the
going
curve
over
or you
the
keep
other
going?
side.
I don't even get up that high to the curb. I'm not even climbing the fence.
So you stop at the curve.
I'm not climbing the fence. Yeah, I'm not even climbing the fence. I don't need to climb it. What's the good in climbing?
But no, there's a guy that
he climbed
went full Richmond yesterday and climbed all the way to the top of the fence as Brad's doing his burnout.
Nice.
I assumed it was TJ.
Clint actually, I think, said something about it. Yeah, Clint said, "Oh, there's a guy in the fence."
He actually looked like a Griffin, to be honest with you.
Put a solid chance.
Boy, what a piece of freaking race. I tell you what.
I thought that was it.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
That Dark Horse Mustang finally hit puberty and let its balls drop and got into victory circle.
What a great call.
I thought it was over. You have a little more confidence, Freddie, in the Fords now?
You're talking to the wrong guy, buddy. I said the Fords didn't need to be worried. Everybody needs to be worried.
I picked Chris Buescher on DBC picks.
Don't get me started.
He was going to win.
I've been there. Trust me. Look at my picks.
It's frustrating.
Okay.
You suck, Casey.
We have one more call.
Hello? Is this that number that Ms. Boat told us to call for a date with Joel? Yeah, I ain't got none of them there wiping rocks around my mailbox or pink flamingos in my yard or pineapples in my window or nothing like that. But I would like to take my pole out and get me some hogs if Joel's interested. Yeah, fish. I'm talking about fishing. I seen his profile on Twitter, and it looks like he's into fishing, so I'd be into that too. Just have him give me a call back. Thank you.
This guy likes Joel's pole.
And hogs.
Did he say his Twitter profile or his Tinder profile?
He did say Twitter.
I thought about this yesterday as I was on my neighborhood walk, and I saw the white rocks by the mailbox, and I thought, man, just imagine being like a 22-year-old listening to our podcast, and you realize that your mom and dad's got white rocks.
I seen a buddy of mine, Richie Pillai. He tweeted us yesterday, and he's like, he's got a mailbox where he's like, man, I was getting ready to, put some stones down here. He's like, but now you guys have ruined it for me. I don't know if I can do that anymore.
You know what? I'm walking my neighborhood tonight. I'm looking. I've got to know.
I still have never heard the
I haven't either, but I'm going to find out.
Well, when we left here, I Googled it.
Start knocking on doors.
And it's real.
What happens if they're outside? They wave. Do you wave back? I mean, what's that mean? Is it on? Game on or what?
You just go talk to them. You just approach them.
Okay, Brett, you try that and let us know how it goes.
He did.
Oh, great calls as always. To leave an audio message for us, just call our number 704-802-9572.
Consumer Cellular's official wireless partner of Brad Keselowski, RFK Racing, and the 6 Car.
If they can count on Consumer Cellular, you can too.
Brad Keselowski and RFK Racing know speed, and that's just what you get with Consumer Cellular.
Consumer Cellular has award-winning 100% U.S.-based customer service centers, so you can always get the help you need. It's like having your own pit crew right when you need them.
Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as leading carriers, but with plans starting as low as $20 a month.
There are no activation fees and no contracts. Consumer Cellular customers stay because they want to, not because they have to. They don't need to trap their customers.
You can even try Consumer Cellular for 30 days risk-free. If you don't love it, cancel it. But we bet you'll love it.
And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code MONTHFREE by May 31st. That's promo code MONTHFREE at consumercellular.com. So what are you waiting for? See consumercellular.com for promotional details.
Moving on to Ask DBC. Don't forget #AskDBC on X to send in your favorite questions for these guys. First one is from Colton. I know there is some doubt by drivers after long winless streaks, wondering if they still have what it takes. But do spotters ever have that same doubt? TJ.
Yeah, I mean, you're thinking about it as close as we were. I mean, you just don't know. This sport's so hard to win, and you don't know when it's going to be your last win, and or even your first for a lot of guys. That I mean, it was in my head. I don't know how you don't think about it. You get so close, and we've had so many conversations on the drive home from after races. What if this went a little bit different? We should have won this. We should have won that. And you just never know, man. And I think, I mean, it's been tough. I'm not gonna lie. It does drain. It does wear you down mentally. And I'd be lying if I said it was easy.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, we're kind of in the midst of a long streak now that we've, me and Bubba have been there forever. 15 years. This is our 15th year. We had a lot of success early in the K&N series. We had a lot of success in the Truck Series. Xfinity didn't go so well. Beginning of the Cup career didn't go so well. Finally got to where we needed to be, won some races. And now you're back in this streak where it's been over a year, and you're wondering, you're in position, you got speed, you don't. I don't think you doubt that it's going to come. It's just you have your concerns that how are we going to get this done, and it obviously always creeps in the back of your mind somewhere.
Well, here's the weird part. Like you go back to the start of last year, Hendrick has 16 wins, JGR has 12 wins. If you're not one of those two organizations, it's freaking hard. And I mean, obviously RFK has 4 wins in that same time span, but. Man, you go into every race, every weekend, hoping you can win. And then when you practice, you kind of settle into, man, I hope we can run here, right? Whether it's 15th or 5th. But if you can run top 5, you got a chance to win. So as a spotter, we're probably way more optimistic than the drivers because drivers are feeling and seeing every inch and every opportunity. But, I mean, if you're a driver with a 5% win percentage, you're a Hall of Famer. In any other sport, you'd be dead. You wouldn't even have a job. So I say this all the time. Winning a Cup Series race is the hardest thing to do in all of motorsports in America. It's so freaking hard.
This next one is from Andrew. I'm traveling to North Wilkesboro from the United Kingdom next weekend for the All-Star race, followed by a road trip through Charlotte, Atlanta, Nashville, and finishing with the Indy 500.
No, he ain't going to make it to Indy 500. Nashville's deadly.
Solid schedule. What are your top recommendations other than Big Al's? Millbridge.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think Big Al's is a top recommendation for Charlotte. It's just where we go on Sunday nights because there's nothing else
I
open.
think we let people down often when they're like, I get a lot of tweets about, man, Big Al's in a strip mall. I'm like, yeah, it's our place.
I would say another top recommendation is JRM Fan Day next Thursday to catch us.
It's race shops. It's Hall of Fame. It's honestly
Hall of Fame, race shops.
There's nothing cooler to do in Charlotte if you're a race fan than go Pro Motorplex. That's a good spot.
Yeah, those carts are fast.
I think
fast.
I think it's called Trackhouse.
I hope that I should probably not say this because I'm not 100% sure of it, but I'm pretty sure Airspeed's going to open up during the Charlotte race week.
Wow.
So that'll be cool. It might be.
Freddie?
What is Airspeed? That's where we build speed for 2311. That's the shop that we're using, but obviously we're not permitted to call it a shop, so it's Airspeed. It's our facility.
Isn't there still some sort of?
Well, it is a shop. You asked me what it is. It's a shop, Casey. That's a building that we've got house the cars in.
So aggressive.
But I believe it's going to be open. I think it might be the same day as JRM Fan Day, which is the 23rd, I believe. So I don't know. Keep an eye out for that. I'm sure they'll announce something soon.
The guy's doing it right, though. He's coming from the UK. Like, he's hitting some good spots.
And listen, if you're coming through Charlotte, you're going to Atlanta, you got to stop at the Varsity. The Varsity is a local treasure.
You got to go to the College Football Hall of Fame. In Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
Okay. I've never been.
The Varsity, you UK guy, you're driving down the interstate, and it's on your left when you come into Atlanta. It's a hot dog and burger joint.
Get a I think it's called a frosted orange. It's like a dreamsicle milkshake thing. It's fantastic, and it lasts you all the way from Atlanta to the Kannapolis border. I've tried it one time.
I will say, I was obviously joking about Millbridge, but there are a lot of local tracks along that route that you can easily catch.
Oh, you were joking?
I mean, I was, but I wasn't. There are 2 big races at Millbridge next week.
Are there?
But yes, there are. But I will say, there are quite a few. And I mean, a lot of these tracks also have local affiliations.
Do y'all wish that the All-Star race was at Charlotte Motor Speedway? I'm not saying we wouldn't go to North Wilkesboro. Like, don't confuse me with saying let's go to Charlotte instead of North Wilkesboro. Let's assume North Wilkesboro still lives on our schedule.
Is that something you wish, Brett?
I'm asking y'all.
I think I used to love the week between the All-Star and the 600. I thought that was, and you're kind of getting a lot of the same stuff because we're still in Wilkesboro, but I think the race would be better at Charlotte for one. But which it'll be interesting to see how this option tire works. But I always loved that run Charlotte, have that week in between where you can go see shops and everything, and then have the 600.
Yeah, the way this car is, I think in the right format, I think the All-Star race could be very exciting. at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but I also think they're working on things to make it exciting at Wilkesboro too. So we might go up there and have one of the best all races we've ever had.
Why do you think Wilkesboro hadn't sold out already?
Which I have not.
I mean, I hope it has by now.
I haven't looked. One thing that is like interesting to me that I haven't looked to see what they're selling for tickets is that backstretch grandstand gone. Like,
I have no idea.
It's not been any of the pictures I've seen from the test.
They do have a spotter stand now, right?
Yeah, it's the spotter stand's on top of that suite in turn 4.
Yeah.
But from all the pictures I've seen of the test, the backstretch grandstand that was there is gone. Now, I mean, it was a portable grandstand, so they can take it out and bring it back as fast as they want to. But I haven't looked at the ticket sales to see if they're selling that backstretch grandstand like that.
I'm going to Myrtle Beach this weekend for a baseball tournament, but if I were not going to Myrtle Beach for a baseball tournament, this is one of the races I would literally buy tickets to and take Bodie.
Yeah.
Because this is the grassroots. This is the home of what NASCAR used to be.
And
I'm glad we're back there.
I think that this
too.
I think that this race, and if you go back and listen to Dale's show with Elton Sawyer last week, they were talking about this tire that we're going to run, the softer tire. It's basically the rain tire without the grooves in it. It sounds like to me anyway, which we saw last year was a really good tire for racing anyway. And a lot of people are comparing it to the harder versus the softer compound, and to listen to Elton basically like. They're wanting to see what this tire does for the future. Like not so much concerned about how it relates to the harder tire, but just showing us like, is this tire going to wear out? Is there going to be comers and goers? Do you have to manage this tire?
I hope we can wear them out.
Yeah, I hope we can. I hope you see us go out there and run as hard as we can and burn the tires off this thing early, and teams figure out. And I hope obviously, I always see this complaint about we need option tires. We need option tires. The problem is, just like we do with pitch strategy, the teams are going to figure out when to put the stuff on, and everybody's going to do the same thing. So I hope that somebody doesn't at Wilkesboro. I hope there's somebody that puts it on early and cuts through the field, and not everybody just saves it for later. Or if everybody puts it on early, somebody does save it for later and can cut through the field later. But I hope there's some differing strategies on that race and that program.
I just hope they see the option tire is the better tire. And that's the tire we run.
Yeah, I think that's, and then I think that's kind of what Elton was getting at. Elton was, because we were talking about, a lot of people were like, oh, how's it compare to the other tire? Heads up, and it's like they're not so concerned with that. They're concerned to how that option tire performs, because they would, if it's an option to move forward and use that at Martinsville. I
think they figured out some good things, like the tires that we were wearing out at Bristol. They weren't just popping. It was like you were wearing it out too much, and you don't have, when you felt it, you pit.
Yeah.
Like you wore yourself out. You need to hit pit road. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
This next question is from Nathan. Is it panic time for anyone outside the top 16 in points to get a win for the playoffs?
So I don't know that it's panic time, right? My guy's 16, or say 17th in points. He's 6 points out of the championship, right? Or out of the playoffs. I talked about 2 weeks ago how easy it is to lose points on here because we had back-to-back DNFs and lost a bunch of points. Yesterday, we ran top 10 both stages, 9th and 10th in the 2 stages, finished 7th. And we went from 4 points out to 6 points out. So if you're telling me it's not time to panic for the guys like Noah, maybe Joey's on that line of, maybe he doesn't need to panic yet. But, so 19th back, no, these guys are going to have to win, I think, because it's just so hard to make up ground. We obviously, I think we were 4 behind Brad. Now we're 6 behind Briscoe. So we've gained on Kyle Busch yesterday, but still, we have a top 10 run all day long and lose ground technically in the fight for the last playoff spot. So it's just, if you get to a point where, I think Noah was 83 out or something like that, you have to win.
I'll tell you what, man, Josh is creeping in on Noah.
Yeah, and we had said, was the beginning of the year, over-under on Stewart Haas was going to be 20th, and they got 2 in the top 20 and 1 knocking on the door of the top 20, so that's pretty impressive.
With a big point penalty.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Noah, anyway.
Which one's got it there?
Noah and Priest, I think. So, you think these guys, who from Noah downs must win, you think, or can he make up an 80-point gap on us and Logano?
I think everybody that's out is going to have to win. I think, it's easy to say Bubba Wallace can point his way in over Chase Briscoe. Dude, you're staring down Kyle Busch. He can win anywhere. Chris Buescher, he could have won the last 2 weeks. Ross Chastain, he's going to win a race. Alex Bowman, he's a Hendrick car. What I'm looking at inside of the top 16, is guys that are fast with a lot of speed that can win at a lot of places. And I mean, listen, Clint Boyer, God bless him, love him to death. There were years where we rode around trying to point our way in instead of going out and winning races. Blake Shelton asked to come on the show because at that point in the NASCAR journey, he was frustrated with guys not racing to win, racing to point their way in. I don't think if you're outside of this top 16, you can say, I'm going to point my way in.
Absolutely not. That's the point I was making yesterday. We ran as good as we could yesterday. We weren't great, weren't bad. We ran top 10 and lost ground. You you have to, and then you got road courses coming up. You've got at least one more plate race before the playoffs start. So you're getting wild card wins from anywhere here, and then some guys could pop a win off. Buescher's right here in front of us. He could have won yesterday. You know what I mean? So it's just, I think everybody's a little bit panicked if they're out.
I said on here a few weeks ago that we're hitting the sweet spot of the schedule, minus North Wilkesboro. A, it's not a point race, and B, it's a short track. Like, these races are – I mean, Jeff Gluck's poll right now is 93% was Darlington a good race. We're hitting the money spot of the schedule.
That's high.
That's freaking real high.
What was last week?
96. Yeah.
That's 2 big weeks.
Dude, I told y'all we're hitting the money spot right here.
Just need Denny to not win.
Speaking of Denny, Dirty Mo announced the return of the Denny Hamlin Bracket Challenge. Sounds like there's tons of excitement from fans on X. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I even seen, I think, and somebody will have to back me up on this. I think, did I see that Amazon or TNT has said that they're gonna somehow incorporate something like this into their broadcast part, thing next year.
That's cool.
So that's cool. But yeah, this was a hit last year.
How'd y'all brackets do?
I don't think I did one.
I didn't do one.
Yeah. We can do that this year. We can do it.
I think I won.
We could do it. Yeah, I know you did not win. It'll be a lot of fun, and it's something cool to look at matchups and talk about during the week. And I think I think Denny had a great idea here when he brought it up last year, and there definitely I think should be something in season like this. You saw the NBA do it this year in the season tournament where it's got a big payday at the end of the year, and it adds value to a race that might not be as exciting. You can have a battle for 12th that's actually for $1 million or something like that. So it's definitely a great idea, and it's awesome to see it come back.
Head to dirtymomedia.com to sign up for the newsletter to hear when it will be live. All right, guys, who is your idiot of the week?
I don't know what Freddie's is, but I'm going to assume it's that idiot that drove the white truck in the side of Bobby Timmons' race car.
Oh man!
I mean, that's we don't have many Hall of Fame wooden idiots. That's a Hall of Fame.
No, that guy's straight to the top.
I saw another angle from like turn 4 where I think it's hard to tell exactly what's going on in the car there. And I think the angle I saw, some people that have maybe not seen it, go to my Twitter. I retweeted the other day. Brett did, I think.
Bobby Timmons 13 is Bobby's Twitter.
Yeah.
It's there.
He runs a super modified at Star, which kind of similar to any sprint car race you watch. They have to get pushed off to start. So I don't know if this didn't look like a push truck because it didn't have anything on the front of it to push with. But they're getting pushed off. They're rolling around the racetrack. And this guy just hangs a left and destroys Bobby's race car. Luckily, Bobby was okay. Then the video I saw from the outside, it looks like he's throttling up, trying to get across the racetrack quickly. Yeah. I don't know what you're doing. Like I said, you're one idiot Hall of Fame member. But we had a couple this week. There's poor guy in the ARCA race that drove right into a big tire at the end of pit road.
I mean, but most of the time, our what an idiot is fun. It literally is to make fun of somebody. We've even given that to ourselves.
I'm going to do that in a minute.
Vice versa. But this could have been deadly.
Yes, it's absolutely can't.
This is a serious what an idiot. And
who pays for that?
So what Bobby did tweet that the racetrack and I think the sponsor of the race or whoever was putting on the event have reached out to him and they're working on some details to try and make it right. But I mean, you can't make it right. You know what I mean? You can maybe help Bobby. Bobby's a fabricator. Bobby and his dad basically built that race car from the ground up.
But then there's not a lot of body work on anything.
So I mean, it's hard. It's probably more so heartbreaking for him that his race car just got destroyed versus anything else. But I feel bad for him. He texted me before the video came out. And he's like, "Man, you're not gonna believe what happened to me today." And when he showed me the video, he was right. I couldn't believe it.
This is the same guy who threw up at Big Al's, by the way,
Yes,
just to tie this all in.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah. He threw up on the floor at Big Al's.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
No. I saw him throwing up. There is no allegedly bullshit to this. I was
He's
a
coming
witness.
back. He said he's making a return
Good.
visit for the
So what an
All-Star.
idiot was short and sweet this week. That's
gets
all.
Hold on,
Wait.
no, we got to give it to our buddy.
Okay, who are we giving it to?
Clint Boyer.
What did he do?
Oh.
I heard two things.
Pulled over?
I heard he got a speeding ticket in McBee.
What an idiot. It's MacB, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And then he's trying to circle the idiot that was climbing the fence on the front stretch and somehow
Circle the stain on the guy's
circled some guy's ass on television.
yeah, I mean, Dustin, I think Clint likes your backside, buddy.
Oh, so
Brett's up.
Clint, poor Clint. Do you have any idiots this week, DJ?
I was going to give it to the fence guy.
They climbed it.
Yeah,
He was
what
trying
are
to
you doing?
celebrate your win. You can't give a guy an idiot award.
You don't.
Where's security in this situation?
You don't need to be on top of the curved part, man. That's where you know what the next step is racetrack.
Yeah,
Like
Just
that's
be
not,
on your hood.
Yeah, that's not. That's not.
It's been a
very
long
good.
time, man. He's excited.
You know what? I don't know if I want to give it to him or not. Like we were choosing from third, and Ty Gibbs is running second, and we were front row or fourth outside, and we pretty much knew where they were going to go. But for some reason, Ty is rolling up to the choose box, and he swerves left. Then he comes back like, whoa, like, what are you doing? Just choose your lane. It's not like,
He almost got you.
yeah, like, oh, you know, are you trying to, like, what are you, that
You
just,
know when that'll stop? When he
Probably.
hits the box.
yeah, when he hits the box. But, like,
Tony Hirschman told him to do it.
it's just like, you know what that shows? Like, this dude wants to get rid of us. We're like, he doesn't want us up here, so he's trying to do every little thing, like, but like, just choose your
Hey,
spot.
I will
man.
give Ty credit.
He ran a great race.
Ty did a great job
did a
yesterday.
really good
Post race though.
Oh yeah,
He had the best Instagram post of the day. Did you see it? You ever see the SpongeBob meme where it's like, I'm gonna head out, and the guy's like getting up? There's a video. Ty is talking to Tyler as Buescher is heat-seeking missile for Tyler, and
He
Ty
gone.
turns around, and you see him look up, and whoop, and he tweeted a video and says,
go.
I'm gonna head out. Speaking of that, I would give him that what a genius for that. And also, I picked on him last week because they sucked. But the Dirty Mo No guys are back to the Dirty Mo Do guys. Tampa Tims, which, hold on a second, I'll get back to that in a second. Picked Brad to win, I guess. I know I saw a clip of him talking about there was great value in Fords this week. Fords had 5 of the top 10, so he nailed that pick. But I have to ask, and maybe this is for the production crew more so than us, where the did the name Tampa Tims come from? He was Alex Tims for as long as I known him.
Yeah.
He's not from Tampa. Like, is this like an alter ego personality that he's trying
He's been
to?
Tampa Tims as long as I've been here. I've only been here 3.5 months. He did. He's been to Tampa one time.
He went to Tampa
He's
one
been to
time.
Tampa one time, even though he goes to
Something
Nashville
happened.
every other
No,
weekend.
Something happened. You don't just go to
Yeah, he got locked up. Or he
something
got somebody
happened
pregnant.
because you don't just
Like,
get the
something
town's
big
name.
happened.
Yeah, I don't.
This is
I'm
a
not
life.
trying
I promise you, I am never going to be Columbia Freddie. That's not going to happen.
I mean, Brett's not going to go to Chicago and become Chicago Brett because of this cup race. I mean, Brett's not going to be Chicago Brett. I mean, unless
That's like I met this kid this weekend. His name was Montana. I'm like, well, I ain't gonna name my kid South Carolina. Like,
Brett,
how do you get these nicknames? Tampa Tims.
Brett has a friend that I forget. I wish I knew the whole story right now. I'm sorry. Herm has a friend that his 2 kids were on vacation somewhere, and one was like this, or prom night, or some was like the Center Motel, which is not a nice hotel in the middle of Kannapolis, and their other kid was conceived like at the MGM in Las Vegas, and he's like, if I was you, I wouldn't tell either one of your kids about that. But it's like, you should name them. You should have named them after each, like where they were born. You know,
yeah, Caesar, one be Caesar.
I'm not trying to speculate here, but a very well-known movie, Magic Mike, was filmed in Tampa. So I don't know if Tampa Tims
was out there dancing.
So what do you think happened?
Maybe that's how he's getting his betting.
Or do you
bankroll.
know?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you?
He looked like he knew something.
Who, Evan?
Yeah.
Evan. Listen, Evan's a man of mystery. All of a sudden, I don't know, this kid's out there making voices. Evan painted the lines on the track. And by the way, shout out, the line was straight as hell.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
couldn't
it
have
was
got
straight
any
as
straighter.
hell, and it looked like it was lined up
Yeah.
with the camera. At
I did. I went
Darlington.
out there and measured it. It was straight. No, I'm just kidding. one chance in that again. Just in case.
Oh, moving on to DBC picks. I honestly, I give up.
We all sucked this week. 19th
I mean,
one.
I literally
y'all
picked
suck.
Larson.
Told y'all Eric
I
Jones
I
coming
got
back.
Tyler Reddick.
I had what?
I was going to win.
That don't matter.
I was going to run top 5.
Yeah.
Until 8 to go, I was going to win.
My guy was outrunning your guy all race long until he got a speeding
Right,
penalty.
even you told me that I was going to win.
I know. You
Larson,
You
come
suck.
on. What in the
So here's
world?
my question for DBC picks this week. Are we sticking to the...
No, you pick anybody you want.
Driver
You pick whoever you want.
is
That's what we do.
eligible.
Yeah.
I get to pick first.
No, I do, right?
No.
No.
You sure?
I lost with Larson.
Why?
Because Larson wrecked. Oh, you're making me so mad today. I'll go with Denny Hamlin.
Kyle Larson.
Well, he's coming from the back.
Kyle Larson.
Coming from the back.
He has to, right? He can't run heat races.
Indy 500.
He'll be all right.
Kyle Larson.
Okay.
So my turn. I'll take. I gotta pick somebody who's in a race, I guess, huh?
Josh Perry.
Nah.
He's a good short track
He
guy.
is a really good short track guy.
Is he going to win the Open?
Maybe. I hope not. I hope my guy wins the Open.
Oh, you in the Open?
Oh yeah, I'm in the Open.
TJ's not an Open.
Not
He's a
anymore.
winner
I'm in
and
the
a
Open.
champion.
I will take Martin Truex.
All right. So I feel like he's going to come back here. I'm going to go with William Byron.
You've been in motherfucking him the whole show. Now
I
you got to
did
take
not.
him.
I said I like Legos, dude. Damn. I like William.
I love William.
Do you know
I love love.
you've won twice and your average finish of those wins is 21st?
Do you realize I probably have more single-digit finishes than the rest of you as well? You don't look at that, Casey?
Whatever.
Casey.
All right.
1, 2, 3,
All-Star race weekend.
Yep.
I mean, they could not have a better schedule between the Cars Tour. We have the pit stop, pit crew challenge. The race is going to be phenomenal, as Freddie would say.
Oh, you know where I think I'm going to go this week just for fun?
Big Al's.
Nope.
Oh.
I think I'm going to go to Bowman Gray. I've been bashing the hell out of Bowman Gray for a year and a half now.
I've never been to Bowman Gray.
And they've done.
It's fun.
They started the trend back in a bad direction this week. They had some terrible races and a show guy flipping off the crowd.
Heck yeah. Was it Tim Brown?
No, I don't even know his name. He's like the guy that was like praised for being the crowd favorite last week, and now he's flipping the crowd off in the middle
Really?
of the football
That's a
field.
Saturday night?
What was his name? Who's Zach something? Zach Stanley, something like that. Yeah, Saturday night. But yeah, I think if we're gonna do after the truck race, me and Hirsch, maybe Meg will head up there and maybe watch Bowman Gray. You got to run the heat races. I don't have a heat race.
What can we expect as we watch this weekend?
Fast, really, like 2 seconds faster than we were last year, probably. Probably a little faster than that if when you put that other tire on there. And I think that's the biggest thing everybody needs to focus on is how that tire performs, because that may be a huge thing moving forward for our short track package.
And this could be
it's just cool.
the unknown. The unknown this weekend with these tires. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Now, with Harvick practicing for Larson, because Larson will be in Indy, you really think he has a shot at the win if he's starting from the back?
Kyle Larson can win anyway.
Yeah.
Anytime.
We all started in the back last year. I think we drove to the front.
Yeah, I don't.
Just not when I pick.
I think it's going to be hard to pass because obviously new asphalt is
Yeah.
not ideal. I think the question is, how does this, as they've said,
Super grippy. If the grip falls off, it's going to be good.
yeah, that's what we need to happen. And man, it's our All-Star event is the best All-Star event in all of sports. There's nothing else like it.
But you don't like the NFL All-Star?
I mean, NFL's gone into a freaking two-hand tag game because it's so lame.
And the NBA game is just
The over-under is 400.
no defense.
Yeah, you don't play defense.
You're talking legit all-stars out there being absolutely lame. These dudes are going to go in here with $1 million on the line. And
Well, they're trying to win. The other guys don't
they're
even care
trying to
about
win.
winning.
They're trying to beat each other for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And, literally second place doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So
Be
I'm
fun.
I'm all for it.
All right. Well, everybody enjoy your week.
Congratulations again, TJ.
We're
Thank
shotgunning
you.
beers after the show for TJ.
Yeah.
All right. I'll film
Right
you.
now.
I'll film you too.
I'll join.
We out.
Have a great week.
I'll see you.